Chapter 540. The improvement of every battle technique could increase one's battle prowess. Now that the Dragon Rebel Spear art had reached the greater mastery stage, the power of the battle techniques had increased rapidly. This was definitely beyond Yang Wu's expectations. When a heavenly skill reached the greater mastery stage from the proficient stage, it could increase one's strength by 50% at most. Once it reached the perfect stage, it could increase one's strength by 100%. Yang Wu's Dragon Rebel Spear art had reached the greater mastery stage and increased his strength by 100%. It was completely comparable to an ordinary heavenly skill at the perfect stage. If it reached the perfect stage, it would probably be even more terrifying. Yang Wu became more and more courageous as he fought. Many Yakshas were killed, and the Heaven Realm Yakshas had no choice but to step in. They had just fought with the other human prodigies and had yet to fully recover their strength. Now that they had to face such a powerful prodigy, they were filled with despair. Fortunately, this human prodigy had come alone. Otherwise, they could only flee for their lives. 5 Heaven Realm Yakshas came forward with a large amount of poisonous fog, forming a thick poisonous fog field. This poisonous fog was no ordinary poison. It also contained the poison of the Yakshas. Even a mid-level heavenly fish realm cultivator might not be able to withstand it. Yang Wu had a body that was impervious to poison. Although these poisons were terrifying, they still couldn't hurt him. The only thing that made him feel pressured was the strength of these 5 heavenly Yakshas. 2 of them were mid-level heavenly Yakshas, while the other 3 were low-level heavenly Yakshas. Their combined strength wasn't easy to block. "Come on, let's continue to fight to our heart's content," Yang Wu shouted with a high battle intent. He raised his battle spear and attacked. His spear aura changed continuously, and several moves were stacked at the same time. White Snake's tongue, Flood Dragon emerging from water, Black Tiger crouching, Black Dragon swings its tail. Yang Wu didn't have any worries. He let loose and fought against these heavenly Yakshas, treating them as whetstones for his spear arts. The heavenly Yakshas were not to be trifled with. After their poison lost its effect, they used their other innate talent, stealth assassination, and kept on changing their figures to deal with Yang Wu. It was a pity that Yang Wu's senses were too strong. No matter how they tried to hide, they were unable to escape from his senses. One of the heavenly Yakshas was pierced by Yang Wu's long spear, and its Yaksha core exploded. Another heavenly Yaksha was given a roundhouse kick by Yang Wu, and its face became distorted. Yang Wu was fighting 1 against 5, and it wasn't that he wasn't injured. He was also hit by the opponent's attacks, but he was wearing the little saint armor, which minimized the damage. Moreover, his physical defense was strong enough to begin with. This battle lasted until dawn, and 5 heavenly Yakshas were stabbed by Yang Wu's spear. Yang Wu took their Yaksha cores and headed straight for the Yaksha tribe's important grounds. This place was filled with poisonous fog, and there were many Yakshas. However, as Yang Wu charged in so aggressively, they all ran as far away as they could, not daring to go up against Yang Wu. Yang Wu locked onto a hill. There was a spiritual spring flowing there, and it was like the Milky Way was plunging down incessantly. The sparkling and translucent spring water was beautiful and filled with spiritual chi, nourishing the land and resisting all the poisonous gases in the surroundings. When things reach an extreme, they will move in the opposite direction. The poisonous gases here are very strong, but it gave birth to this spiritual spring, Yang Wu said emotionally. The Night Star Spring was a type of heavenly spring. It had the ability to resist poison, strengthen the soul, and condense astral souls. Most importantly, it could wash away the poison in one's soul. It was very valuable. Although the Night Star Spring was precious, Yang Wu's target this time around was not it. He knew from the Spiritual Objects Inheritance Manual that Little Hay had imparted to him that wherever there was a Night Star Spring, there would definitely be a Night Star Stone. It was a type of minor sacred material, a material used to refine minor sacred weapons. Yang Wu's dual-edged 3-dragon spear had already shattered and could no longer be used. Right now, he had quite a number of heaven-grade stone materials, but none of them were sacred materials. The Night Star Stone was the material he was looking for. When the dual-edged three-dragon spear merged with the Night Star Stone, it will be able to help it become a minor sacred weapon. Yang Wu activated his soul, eye, and landed on the Night Star Springs waterfall. He saw through the situation in the Night Star Spring and searched for the Night Star Stone. Just as he saw a piece of Night Star Stone, he discovered that there was a cave behind the waterfall. There seemed to be another world inside the cave. Yang Wu gave it some thought and reached out to grab a piece of rock that weighed 1,000 jin, throwing it toward the waterfall. Bang! The rock contained Yang Wu's power, and it heavily hit the waterfall. Countless Night Star Spring water splattered everywhere. The rock broke through the Night Star Spring water and entered the cave. After a long time, there was no movement from the cave. Yang Wu then flew toward the Night Star Spring. He passed through the Night Star Spring and entered the cave that could merge with the two of them. Yang Wu did not touch a single drop of water. He came in front of the cave and first dug up the Night Star Stone. This Night Star Stone looked like it was only the size of a human head, but it weighed a few thousand jin. As expected of the Night Star Stone, it is so heavy. Such a big piece is enough to refine multiple sacred weapons. Yang Wu sighed. The Night Star Stone was much more precious than the Night Star Spring. Only the Blood Dragon Saint Crystal that he obtained from the Blood Dragon could compare. After Yang Wu took the Night Star Stone, he walked into the cave. He wanted to see what was inside the cave. His soul eye had long been opened, allowing him to see everything in the cave. There were 3 corpses in the deepest part of the cave. One was a human, and the other 2 were yikshas. Their corpses were immortal, and they looked as if they were still alive. Only the bodies of little saints could remain immortal even after death. The human little saint was a dragon transformation realm expert. The dead human beings clenched the heads of the yikshas and crushed their skulls. A yiksha's hand pierced through the human's heart, while another one pierced through the human's lower abdomen. It was a death of mutual destruction. However, he did not know how they came to this cave after they died. Yang Wu came in front of them. After observing for a while, he found that they should have been dead for a long time. The yiksha's core power had dissipated, and their flesh and bones had shrunk a lot. Yang Wu murmured, "No matter who you are, since I found you here, I will let you rest in peace." After saying that, Yang Wu moved the 2 yiksha corpses away and burned them with fire, leaving only the human corpses. Just as he was moving the human corpses, he found that there was something under the human corpses. It was a letter written in blood, and a line of shocking words was written on it. "Later, send my body back to Wudong." This is a Wu Dang expert. Yang Wu exclaimed. Wu Dang was a giant figure in the transcendent realm, and it was also a model of a famous sect. It was on par with Kunlun, Shushan, and other forces. However, there were no geniuses of Wu Dang here this time. After Yang Wu saw the line of words, he decided to put away the corpse and the blood letter and send the dead back to the warrior. Just as he put away the blood letter, he found that there were other things under it. They were an interspatial ring and another piece of paper. "Later, whether you're sincere or not, send my body back to Wudang. My relics have fallen into your hands. When you uphold justice and destroy evil, I, Zhong'en, will be comforted in heaven." It turned out that the deceased's name was Zhong'en. Before he died, he had left behind his last wish. The interspatial ring was his relic, which meant that it contained his life's work. Yang Wu picked up the interspatial ring and laughed at himself. "You are afraid that I won't send you back to Wudang, so you played this trick. It seems that decent people also play tricks." Yang Wu wanted to see what was in the interspatial ring, but he encountered another obstacle. Just like when he wanted to open the hair ornament left by Jiang Ping, there was a powerful restriction formation blocking him. However, Yang Wu was not in a hurry. He had already formed his soul body. When he went back, he would use the Night Star Spring to refine a soul-nourishing pill to help his soul power reach another level. He would definitely be able to open the restriction formation one by one. Or when he broke through the heavenly fish realm, his strength would reach a higher level. Yang Wu took out another interspatial ring and put away Zhang Yin's corpse and his interspatial ring. He murmured, "Since you are from Wu Dang's famous righteous sect, your corpse and relics should be sent back to Wu Dang." Yang Wu was not a gentleman, but a gentleman's desire for wealth was justified. He decided to send the corpse and the interspatial ring back to Wu Dang. If Yang Jie heard Yang Wu's words, he would definitely give him a look of disdain. Who was the one who robbed the geniuses last night? Yang Wu was not in a hurry to leave. He used his soul eye to look around the cave. Sure enough, there were night star stones and Xian spirit stones around the cave walls. As expected of a place that can form a night star spring, this is most likely a Xian spirit stone vein. Yang Wu said with great joy. He personally dug out the rock walls and took out all the night star stones and Xian spirit stones. Yang Wu was powerful, so it was easy for him to dig out the rocks here. With the help of his soul eye, he could quickly find the location of the night star stones and Xian spirit stones. Soon, the rocks here were dug out. Fragments of night star stones were found, and many mid-grade Xian spirit stones were dug out. Yang Wu had gained a lot from this trip. After half a day, Yang Wu obtained dozens of fist-sized night star stones from here. It was comparable to a large piece of night star stone he obtained outside. He also obtained 8 blocks of mid-grade Xian spirit stones, which was close to 10,000 mid-grade Xian spirit stones. It was not a huge amount, but it was a huge fortune for any young person. In fact, there were still some Xian spirit stones under the cave, but Yang Wu dug them all out. These Xian spirit stones were the foundation of the Night Star Spring. If he dug them all out, the Night Star Spring would be destroyed. Yang Wu did not kill the goose that laid the golden eggs. Even if Yang Wu did not return to this broken space in the future, it would still be a great blessing for those who came after him. Yang Wu left the cave and took a lot of Night Star Spring water. The nearby Yikshas could only watch him do this. They did not dare to come close. Yang Wu left the Yikshas satisfied. He was no longer interested in killing these Yikshas. He would just let them fend for themselves. When he returned to where Yang Jie and Jiang Ping were, he found Yang Jie naked and hung up. He was covered in wounds and looked very miserable. Jiang Ping was nowhere to be found. On the tree branch where Yang Jie was hung, there was a line of words. "Yang Wu, this will be your fate in the future." What a flower thief. Chapter 541. Yang Jie didn't die, but his bones were broken. He was tortured, but his life wasn't in danger. After Yang Wu fed him a healing pill, Yang Jie woke up and cursed, "Thousand kill blades flower thief. I swear I won't let you off." Yang Wu asked, "Wasn't he tied up? How did he escape?" "He has the innate ability to shrink bones. I don't know how he broke through the restrictions, but I'm not his match," Yang Jie said with a look of shame. "I didn't expect him to have so many tricks up his sleeve." Yang Wu sighed. He patted Yang Jie's shoulder and said, "Don't worry, you can still keep your chastity. I thought you lost your chastity just now." Yang Jie covered his eyes and cried. When he thought of Jiang Ping opening the back door for him, he fainted from fright. At this moment, a strong wind blew in the sky above the broken space. The clouds moved, and a holy voice sounded. "The heavenly king ranking battle in the broken space has ended. All disciples, head to the holy gate and leave. The time limit is 1 day." This voice was ethereal and loud. No matter where you were, you could hear it clearly. The geniuses all cheered. "We can finally leave and go back. I've waited for so long. Has a year passed just like that? I don't think it's enough. There are still many places here that I haven't explored yet. I've gained a lot this year. While I go back, I'll definitely surprise the other brothers and sisters. Surviving is the way of the king. Those who die are just a pile of dirt. I'll walk the path to the peak of martial arts for all of you." A whirlpool of light appeared in the sky. This door emitted waves of holy light, and each ray of holy light contained extraordinary power. This was a spatial door, and many saints had to gather together to open a passage. One by one, the geniuses soared into the sky. Their bodies were like dragons, and their shapes were like young phoenixes. When they left this time, they would be like fish leaping over the dragon's gate. Training here for a day was equivalent to training outside for 3 years. Most of them had their own gains, and when they returned to their respective sects, they would improve faster than the others. They were destined to have a chance to reach the Saint Plane in the future. When they entered, there were more than 10,000 people. However, when they left, there were only 4,000 left. The various sects and schools had lost many people. Let's go. It is time to head out, Yang Jie said with a sigh. This time, his biggest gain from entering the fragmented space was meeting Yang Wu. Bringing him back to the Yang family would definitely be a great merit. Yang Wu hesitated. He was very clear that if he left this place, he would be in the transcendent world. He was still worried about the people in the mortal world. His parents were still in Grand Xia. However, the passageway he came through had already been destroyed. It would be very difficult for him to return to the mortal world. Perhaps he would have a chance in the transcendent world. Let's go. Yang Wu shouted as he carried Yang Jie and the little flood dragon and rushed towards the holy gate. The holy gate contained an indescribable power. As long as one walked in, they would be able to reach the outside world. After many of the geniuses flew in, they disappeared from the sky. When Yang Wu brought Yang Jie to the holy gate, many of the geniuses saw Yang Wu and revealed nervous expressions. They were afraid that Yang Wu would attack them. Yang Wu was labeled as the king of Hell's Palace, and everyone was afraid of him. Yang Wu became the #1 on the Heavenly King list, and this made even more geniuses feel pressured. This was a fact that they did not want to accept. Yang Wu did not have the time to bother with them. He wanted to leave as soon as possible and see Ziyu. Yang Wu brought Yang Jie into the holy gate. There was a mighty force that swept towards them. He and Yang Jie were fine, but the little flood dragon was unable to withstand it. There was a strong repulsion force that forced it to stay. Hiss! The little flood dragon clung onto Yang Wu tightly, unwilling to be separated from Yang Wu. In its mind, Yang Wu was already its parent. How could it bear to be separated from him? Yang Wu sensed the little flood dragon situation. Without hesitation, he activated his blood spirit mystic essence to envelop the little flood dragon. He had to bring it out with him. As expected, under the protection of his power, the holy gate no longer rejected the little flood dragon. It followed Yang Wu into the holy gate. Yang Wu only felt his consciousness pause for a moment. In the next moment, he appeared in the sky above another world. This was the effect of the holy gate's stellar transposition. It's out already? Yang Wu did not feel much. It was as if he was still in the same place. The only difference was that the heaven and earth Xian Qi seemed to have become denser. He looked down and saw that the scene below was indeed different from the broken space. This was a place with beautiful scenery. The mountains were of different heights, and the rivers were like dragons. The endless scenery was different from each other. It was a beautiful place. There was a spacious area below the sky, and many geniuses were flying towards it. There were already people there waiting for them to return. Yang Jie whispered in Yang Wu's ear, "Let's go." Yang Wu acted as if he didn't hear anything. His gaze landed on the people below, and he was looking for Ziyu. "Yang Wu, let's go. Don't look for her anymore. The people of Purple Cloud Palace will not let you go." Yang Jie urged. Then he shouted, "Seventh uncle! Where is seventh uncle?" Several disciples of the Yang family entered the broken space together. The person who escorted them was the Yang family's seventh uncle, Yang Hongchang. His strength had reached the high level of heavenly fish. "What are you shouting for? Seventh uncle is here." A lazy voice rang out. Soon, a man in his prime walked out. He was holding a wine jug in his hand. He looked up at the sky and drank wine, looking very carefree. At the same time, Yang Wu had already seen Ziyu in another direction. He shouted slug. Just as he was about to fly towards Ziyu, Yang Jie hugged Yang Wu's waist tightly and shouted, "Don't go. You will die." Ziyu looked towards Yang Wu. She anxiously transmitted to Yang Wu, "Brother Wu, leave first. I will look for you in the future." Yang Wu acted as if he did not hear her. He forcefully shook off Yang Jie and continued to fly in the direction of Purple Cloud Palace. Yang Jie shouted to Yang Hongchang, "Seventh uncle, help me stop him. Take him away." Yang Hongchang looked puzzled and asked, "Who is he?" "He's from a Yang family," Yang Jie replied. At this moment, Lei Shuyang's voice rang out. Yang Wu, your time of death has come. He then said to the protector next to him, he is Yang Wu, the one who killed the disciples of Purple Cloud Palace. He is also from Yama's palace and cultivates the Tao of Death. Lei Shuyang pointed at Yang Wu. His voice was so loud that everyone around could hear him clearly. Soon, someone echoed his words. Everyone should kill those from Yama's palace. Yang Wu's hands are stained with the blood of countless people. He deserves to die. That's right. Yang Wu is from Yama's palace. He has killed many disciples. We can't let him escape. Yang Wu, you don't deserve to be the first heavenly king. Wait for me to kill you. Yang Wu's hands were mostly stained with the blood of the disciples of Purple Cloud Palace. However, he had also killed people from Blood Fiend sect. As for the people from other sects, as long as they didn't participate in the attack against him, he didn't kill them. Now, there were many voices condemning him. It was obvious that someone was stirring up trouble. In addition to Purple Cloud Palace, people from Longevity Palace and Blood Fiend sect were also jeering. When the other sects and forces heard that Yang Wu was from Yama's palace, their expressions changed drastically. They also concluded that those prodigies who couldn't make it back might have been killed by Yang Wu. Many fierce gazes landed on Yang Wu at the same time. They wanted to get rid of him as soon as possible. A prodigy who had just advanced to the heavenly fish realm soared into the sky. He held a broken weapon in his hand and charged towards Yang Wu. This broken weapon should be a small divine weapon. Even if it was damaged, the power it exerted was extraordinary. The sharp golden chi cut through the sky and rushed to Yang Wu in an instant, wanting to penetrate Yang Wu's body. This was a long-all weapon. With the help of the power of a beginner heavenly fish realm cultivator, it could kill an intermediate heavenly fish realm warrior. Yang Wu was worried about Ziyu Yue. How could he allow others to stop him? He clenched his fist and punched out. In an instant, he punched out. The power of his fist collided with the sharp power and shattered it inch by inch. The prodigy was shocked. He had just broken through to the heavenly fish realm and had obtained this golden all. He thought that he could compete with Yang Wu. However, Yang Wu had broken his attack so violently, which really scared him. However, he had already chosen to attack. There was absolutely no possibility of retreat. He once again organized his forces to attack Yang Wu. Golden Bridge. Suddenly, a golden bridge came from the sky and rushed towards Yang Wu's head. The domineering power caused the surrounding prodigies to cheer. The power of this move was more than twice as strong as the previous one. Let's see if Yang Wu can take it. Those who stop me from seeing you, you will die. Yang Wu's longing for Ziyu Yue had already turned into illness, and no one could stop him from seeing her. His entire body was brimming with profound chi, and a large amount of profound chi condensed on his barbarian god's arm, forming a bull that charged towards the golden bridge. Bang! The bull's strength was amazing. When it collided with the golden bridge's power, there was a dull sound. The two different kinds of chi spread to the left and right. The sky seemed to be shaking. The power was quite extraordinary. Yang Wu and his opponent's power passed each other and swept towards the prodigy. He turned his fist into a palm. The power of the broken river was displayed. It was like a divine dragon swinging its tail. The palm power was amazing. Broken river palm. This was a heavenly skill that Yang Wu had obtained from the broken space. He had performed it to the advanced stage and would soon upgrade it to the perfect stage. You've come at the right time. I'll let you taste the power of my talent. The prodigy did not panic. He shouted loudly, and strands of golden silk seemed to bind Yang Wu. Golden silkworm bind. This was an extremely rare talent that came from this prodigy. This was also the reason why he dared to challenge Yang Wu. Yang Wu's palm power fell on the prodigy's body, causing him to vomit blood. However, Yang Wu was also bound by the power of the golden silkworm. This was a fight that would cause both sides to suffer. Torture Kill. Chapter 542. The prodigy let out a ferocious roar and activated his innate ability to turn Yang Wu into a puddle of blood. Every innate ability had its own merits, regardless of whether it was a minor innate ability or a major one. As long as it was used properly, it could kill without leaving a trace. This prodigy's golden silkworm bind was a minor innate ability, but it contained a major killing power. Once he was in close proximity, even a warrior of a higher realm would be killed by him. When the prodigies saw Yang Wu being bound by the golden silkworm silk, they couldn't help but secretly praise, "Well done." If the prodigy hadn't risked injury, it would have been difficult for him to capture Yang Wu. Each strand of the golden silkworm silk was like a sharp blade. As it contracted, it seemed to carry out a punishment of 1,000 cuts and could turn anyone into a puddle of blood. However, if Yang Wu died so easily, it would be difficult for him to bear the title of #1 Heavenly King. Bang! Suddenly, a blue flame rose from Yang Wu's body. This flame contained extraordinary power and had the power to burn everything. In an instant, it burned the golden silkworm silk. Damn it! My golden silkworm silk is impervious to water and fire. It's not even afraid of ordinary heavenly fire. How could it be broken? The prodigy said in a panic. He sensed that something was wrong and wanted to retreat. However, Yang Wu's palm was already aimed at his chest. Bang! The prodigy's heart-protecting mirror was shattered. A domineering force penetrated his heart and shattered it. The prodigy died on the spot. Originally, Yang Wu only wanted to injure him and not kill him. However, since the prodigy wanted to kill him, he could only send him to hell. It was a pity that this prodigy who had just advanced to the heavenly fish realm had died just like that. This prodigy was not from a major force. He was just an itinerant cultivator. Not many people stood up for him after his death. However, it became an excuse for everyone to blame Yang Wu. "Brat, how should you be punished?" A deacon of the Purple Heaven Palace shouted in the air. This was a top expert in the heavenly fish realm. His momentum was very strong. His eyes stared at Yang Wu like two bolts of lightning. He could not wait to tear Yang Wu apart on the spot. This deacon had a proud disciple who had entered the fragmented space, but he had heard from Lei Shuyang that he had been killed by Yang Wu. He hated Yang Wu to the bone. "Old man, what crime have I committed?" Yang Wu was like a hothead who didn't know how to avoid the confrontation and retorted, "I don't care if you're the #1 Heavenly King or not. You will be killed for killing the disciples of my hall." This deacon of the Purple Heaven Palace said coldly. He struck out a palm at Yang Wu from a distance. When this palm landed, the clouds in the sky moved. All the profound qi within a radius of several miles fell into this palm. The power of heaven and earth was immeasurable. Yang Wu instantly felt suffocated. Just as he was about to open his soul, Ziyu rushed into the sky and rushed between the two at lightning speed. She stood in front of the deacon and said, "Deacon Chung, if you want to kill him, then kill me first. He killed all my senior brothers because of me. Yu, Saintess, move aside." Yang Wu and the deacon of the Purple Heaven Palace called out at the same time. "Big Brother Wu, I'm really happy to see you again. However, you killed so many of my senior brothers. Let me pay for your sins with my life." Ziyu turned back and smiled at Yang Wu. Yang Wu felt as if his heart was being cut by a knife. He rushed forward and said, "No, they brought all of this upon themselves." Yang Wu originally didn't want to make things difficult for Ziyu. However, the people of the Purple Heaven Palace had gone too far. Furthermore, people from the Purple Heaven Palace had descended upon the Great Xia and wanted to sever his relationship with Ziyu. This was the reason why Yang Wu didn't have a good impression of the Purple Heaven Palace. He first defeated Lei Shuyang and then killed people from the Purple Heaven Palace. This caused even more obstacles between him and Ziyu. If he wanted to cross these obstacles, it would be extremely difficult. Ziyu was willing to use her life to resolve the grudge between Yang Wu and the Purple Heaven Palace. In reality, she wanted to protect Yang Wu and the Yang family. Yang Wu's potential was very strong, but compared to the Purple Heaven Palace, it wasn't worth mentioning. Even a saint could be easily eliminated in front of the Purple Heaven Palace. "Saintess, you mustn't act on impulse," the deacon of the Purple Heaven Palace said in a deep voice. Following which, he said to another deacon, "Junior, why aren't you taking the saintess away?" Another deacon of the Purple Heaven Palace flew over and wanted to take Ziyu away. Unexpectedly, Ziyu said in a delicate voice, listen to me first. Otherwise, I will immediately commit suicide in front of you. Ziyu's tone was filled with a sense of decisiveness. She didn't give herself any leeway at all. Ziyu was younger than Yangwu by half a year. She had always been very simple, very kind, and also very mischievous. In the past, she would be very infatuated with Yangwu. However, in front of others, she was very quick-witted and no one could take advantage of her. Yangwu was seething with anger because of her and killed a disciple of the Purple Heaven Palace. At that time, she was injured and couldn't stop it. Now that Yangwu was in trouble, how could she sit by and do nothing? On one side was her lover, and on the other side was her sect. She was stuck in the middle. When the people of the Purple Heaven Palace heard Ziyu's words, they were so scared that they all stopped moving. They were very clear about Ziyu's position in the Purple Heaven Palace. It was even higher than Lei Shuyang's. If she died, they would probably have to be buried with her. Yu, if you do this, how can you face the juniors who died? Lei Shuyang rushed over and questioned. If I die, it will be the best explanation for them. Ziyu said resolutely. Slug, don't speak nonsense, Yangwu said loudly. Then he said, what can the Purple Heaven Palace do to appease their anger? Yangwu, will take care of it. I don't want to make things difficult for you. As a man, Yangwu naturally didn't want Ziyu to die for him. He also didn't want her to die. However, if he wanted to resolve the grudge with the Purple Heaven Palace, it would depend on the other party's conditions. Lei Shuyang continued, your death is the best way to explain it. Yangwu narrowed his eyes and looked at Lei Shuyang, saying, I haven't lived long enough. Then can you revive my juniors? If they didn't randomly accuse me and were prepared to kill me, why would I kill them? No matter what, you killed them, so you have to die. Enough, this matter isn't Brother Wu's fault. Ziyu glared at Lei Shuyang and shouted. She turned to look at Yangwu and said softly, Brother Wu, I'm very happy to see you again. However, my seniors made you unhappy. I apologize to you. Are you willing to forgive them? The people from the Purple Heaven Palace all had ugly expressions. Was this their saintess? Their heaven's prides were all killed by Yangwu. She still apologized to Yangwu and tried to curry favor with Yangwu. What was going on? Usually, they all knew that this saintess had a good personality. However, if they really wanted to offend her, she wasn't someone who was easy to talk to. What was going on today? Yangwu didn't reply. His heart ached as he rushed towards Ziyu. Ziyu said again, Brother Wu, don't come over. If you come over, I'll die. She continued to threaten him with death. Yangwu had no choice but to stop. Yu, whatever you say, don't do anything stupid. Yangwu comforted her. Hee, I still like it when you call me Slug. Ziyu laughed. She then said, today, I'm the Purple Heaven Palace's saintess. You kill my Purple Heaven Palace's people because of me. It's reasonable for me to bear all the consequences. Everyone, be my witness. I'll die, but my brother Wu will live. The surrounding people were moved when they heard Ziyu's words. They were cultivators. How could they be so sentimental? Everything was to pursue the peak of martial arts and the path to immortality. Ziyu, as the Purple Heaven Palace's saintess, was actually sentimental. Many forces felt that the Purple Heaven Palace had chosen the wrong saintess. Saintess, let's talk about this. Don't be rash. Deacon Sheng of the Purple Heaven Palace said, Yu, do you think that if you die, they will let me go? Come with me. I guarantee that I can take you out of here. Yangwu said confidently. Brother Wu, don't worry. Even if I die, there will be someone to protect my last wish. Ziyu said firmly. In the next moment, she decisively took out a dagger and stabbed it towards her own heart. She thought in her heart, Brother Wu, goodbye forever. No. Yangwu and the people of the Purple Heaven Palace cried out in alarm. They all wanted to stop Ziyu, but they didn't have time to do so. The others didn't think that Ziyu would have the courage to kill herself. They couldn't help but respect her in their hearts. Fortunately, a ray of sacred light enveloped Ziyu. An old voice sounded. Little Yu, why did you take things so hard? This elder will make the decision for you. As the voice fell, the dagger in Ziyu's hand turned into powder. It didn't hurt her at all. She looked at the middle-aged man who suddenly appeared beside her and immediately bowed. "Greetings, sacred elder." This middle-aged man was a sacred elder of the Purple Heaven Palace. His voice was very old, but he didn't look old at all. He looked to be in his 40s or 50s. However, if one looked carefully, there were strands of white hair hanging down his temples. His actual age was far beyond what one could see from his appearance. Whether it was the people of the Purple Heaven Palace or the geniuses of other forces, they all had to bow. This was a genuine sacred elder and not a dragon transformation realm small saint. "Little you, tell me. Your great-grandfather told me to look after you and not let anything happen to you. Why did you commit suicide today? If I didn't find out in time, you would have died." The sacred elder of the Purple Heaven Palace said very amiably. He didn't show any of the dignity of a saint. Ziyu felt wronged and told the whole story from beginning to end. She didn't exaggerate the truth. As she spoke, she started to cry. After the sacred elder of the Purple Heaven Palace heard everything, he couldn't help but look at Yang Wu. In an instant, Yang Wu felt as if the light of the sun and moon was pressing down on him. It was so bright that he couldn't open his eyes. That formless aura made him feel suffocated. He felt as if the other party was a giant looking down on him. He was just a small grain of sand that couldn't be seen in the other party's eyes. Is this the might of a saint? Yang Wu sighed in his heart. "Are you from the king of Hell's palace?" The sacred voice suddenly sounded, asking his heart. Chapter 543. Saint Voice Questioning. This was the method of a saint. As long as it was a warrior below the saint level, no one could lie in front of a saint. A saint could sense whether the other party was telling the truth or not. This was the power of a saint. The saint of Purple Firmament Palace was caught off guard as he questioned Yang Wu. Yang Wu was not prepared at all. He only felt his heart being hit by some kind of power, and even his soul was disturbed. Even the divine Core Dao flower could not block this power. He blurted out, "I am not from the king of Hell's palace." "Where are you from?" The saint asked again. "From the great Xia Martial Marquis gang." "Where did you get your path of death?" "From a steel imprint left behind by the king of death at the border." "What is your name?" "My name is Yang Wu." "Why did you kill a disciple of Purple Firmament Palace?" The saint voice asked 10 questions in a row, and Yang Wu answered them honestly. When the 10 consecutive questions were over, the sacred elder of the Purple Cloud Hall withdrew his power. Yang Wu woke up from his daze and glared angrily at the other party. He wished he could kill the other party. If the other party had asked about his secret, wouldn't he have died here? Fortunately, the other party knew his limits and asked a few important questions. The rest were about his background. He cursed in his heart, "Old man, what kind of demonic technique did you use to control my heart? I will avenge this humiliation in the future." No matter who it was, being controlled by others was a very unpleasant thing. Yang Wu was no exception. "Saint Elder, Brother Wu is really not from the king of Hell's palace. Please let him go. I will bear the crime of him killing my senior brother." Purple Yu anxiously asked the Saint Elder. If they are killed, they can only blame themselves for not being skilled enough. "Why are you, a saint, fooling around?" The saint of Purple Firmament Palace said lightly. Then this matter?" Purple Yu asked carefully. Lei Shuyang said, "Saint Elder, this matter cannot be easily forgotten. My little Saint Thunderhammer is still on him." "Little Saint Thunderhammer, return." The saint of Purple Firmament Palace spoke again. This voice reverberated endlessly, and Yang Wu's ears went numb from the vibrations. In another direction, a little Saint Thunderhammer flew back to the saint of Purple Firmament Palace. The saint of Purple Firmament Palace grabbed the little Saint Thunderhammer and shouted, "Sky-severing sect, how dare you!" That day, Yang Wu had been taken away by the saintess of the Sky-severing sect. Even the small Thunder Saint Hammer had fallen into the hands of the saintess of the Sky-severing sect. Just now, it had flown out of the saintess of the Sky-severing sect. The main reason was that the small sacred Thunder Hammer had an extraordinary meaning. It condensed the will of the Purple Firmament Palace, and any saint of the Purple Firmament Palace could summon it. A holy voice from the Sky-severing sect replied, Hee hee. The battle for the Heavenly King ranking depends on one's abilities. Your purple cloud hall's thunder hammer fell into the hands of our holy maiden. You can only blame yourselves for being inferior to our sky-severing sect. Do you think I'm afraid of you? Sky-severing sect is always waiting. The saint of sky-severing sect emphasized. The saint of purple firmament palace did not continue to pester. His gaze landed on Yang Wu again. Since you're not from King of Hell's palace, and you've obtained the position of first heavenly king, the first place reward should be yours. As long as you give these rewards to purple firmament palace, this matter will be over for now. Yang Wu was stunned. First place on heavenly king ranking had a reward? He said without hesitation, okay, as long as you don't make things difficult for you, it doesn't matter what you want. No, Yang Jie cried out in pain. Then he said, the reward for being the first heavenly king is very generous. It can even help you become a saint. Don't give it away. The reward for being the first heavenly king should be a flawless saint heart. Those who obtain it can become a saint. It's a pity that Yang Wu gave it away just like that. That's right. This is the flawless saint heart from the Palace of Immortality. In addition, there's a lesser saint armor, a dragon bone pill, a dragon transformation realm battle technique, and no less than 100,000 mid-grade Xian spirit stones. The reward is so generous that I wouldn't give it away even if I were to die. The reward is important, but my life is more important. Who dares to disobey the saint? Purple Firmament Palace made a fortune. A few disciples died, but a quasi-saint became. Congratulations. The disciples of Purple Firmament Palace felt much better. They had taken Yang Wu's reward as compensation. After all, Yang Wu was not a member of King of Hell's Palace, so they could not use this title to chase after Yang Wu. However, as long as they could suppress Yang Wu's path to becoming a saint, they would have plenty of opportunities to seek justice for their companions in the future. Lei Shuyang revealed an imperceptible look of excitement. He thought to himself, this reward will definitely be given to me. I can become the youngest saint. Purple Yu said with dissatisfaction, Saint, this is not good. Purple Yu did not know how Yang Wu had survived these past 2 or 3 years. It was not easy for him to become so powerful, but she did not want to see the things that belonged to Yang Wu be taken away by others. Moreover, this was a matter of becoming a saint. There were many geniuses present, but less than 1/10 of them could become a saint in the future. Is his life more important, or is the reward more important? Saint asked. Then he looked at Yang Wu and said, did you hear that? The reward is very generous and can help you become a saint. If you want to keep the reward, it is fine. However, your relationship with my saint ends here. How about we write off the matter between you and my Purple Firmament Palace? Yang Wu did not even think before laughing loudly. Huh? How can a mere saint's heart compare to my slug? Take the reward. Slug will always be mine. Yang Wu was bold and unrestrained. He did not care about the so-called reward. He wanted to become a saint, not because of the flawless saint's heart, but because of the mysterious energy essence. Purple Yu's face revealed a brilliant smile and said, Brother Wu, you are so nice. She really wanted to fly over and kiss Yang Wu. She liked Yang Wu's heroic appearance. Yes, this matter ends here. In the future, you people of the younger generation can solve your own problems. Yu, don't be impulsive anymore. Saint Elder of the Purple Firmament Palace did not continue to make things difficult for Yang Wu. However, he also left some leeway for the Purple Firmament Palace. Although he did not find trouble with Yang Wu, it did not mean that the others in the Purple Firmament Palace could not find trouble with Yang Wu. Yes, I don't want to die. Purple Yu revealed a trace of pride. Then she swept towards Yang Wu. Unfortunately, she was imprisoned by Saint Elder of the Purple Firmament Palace. Girl Yu, now is not the time to be sentimental. If he has the ability, let him come to the Purple Firmament Palace to find you in the future. After Saint Elder of the Purple Firmament Palace spoke faintly, he did not wait for Purple Yu's reply and quietly disappeared with her. This Saint Elder was not an idiot. He could see the relationship between Yang Wu and Purple Yu. However, He knew very well what kind of power the Purple Firmament Palace was. A brat from a mortal world, no matter how outstanding his talent was not worthy of their saintess. The two of them were destined to have no future. Rather than letting Purple Yu and Yang Wu be entangled, it was better to separate the two of them first, and then think of a way to cut off the relationship between them. Yu. Yang Wu watched as Purple Yu disappeared before his eyes. He was incomparably furious and unwilling. He wanted to chase after her, but he did not know where she went. He could not sense any trace of her at all. The blue demoness in his heart was incessantly burning, and he felt that his body was about to explode. His lover was right in front of him, but he was powerless. He even almost made her commit suicide to solve the problem. She was taken away by someone else, and he did not even know where she went. He could be called trash. What was the point of having the title of number 1 Heavenly King? He clenched his fists as the blue demoness went through his entire body. It was as if he had turned into a man of flames. The terrifying power contained within his body swept out in all directions. The surrounding geniuses all felt a chill. They could feel that Yang Wu's power was truly terrifying. No wonder he could suppress the Young Hall King and become the number 1 Heavenly King. Young man, don't let your emotions affect your decisions. Once your eyes are blinded by hatred, how can you step onto the peak of the martial path in the future? A lazy voice sounded out. What's the point of having the peak of the martial path? I only want Yu. Yang Wu said as if his mouth was spitting fire. Aha! Only when you reach the peak of the martial path can you step into the Purple Firmament Palace and take back the person you like. That person laughed. Instantly, Yang Wu felt as if the clouds had been cleared and the moon had been revealed. Everything was because he did not have enough power, which was why Purple Yu was taken away by someone else. If he had become a saint today, how could he allow her to be taken away from him? Yang Wu's blazing eyes calmed down, and the flames on his body also disappeared. He turned around and cupped his hands towards that person, saying, "Thank you for your advice." If it wasn't for the other person's words waking him up, he really might have gone mad. You're worth teaching. Not bad, not bad. Yang Hongchang praised. He had already heard from Yang Jie that Yang Wu was a member of the Yang clan. Whether it was true or not, he would recognize him first. This was the number 1 Heavenly King, and his future was limitless. Yang Wu, the grudge of you killing my junior brothers will not be forgotten. If you dare to come to the Purple Firmament Palace, I will definitely kill you. Lei Xiang glared at Yang Wu and shouted. He then turned around and left with the others from the Purple Firmament Palace. Don't worry, I will personally come to the Purple Firmament Palace in the future, Yang Wu said with high fighting spirit. Another voice sounded out. Yang Wu, the next time we meet, I will definitely defeat you. That was the Young Hall King's voice. After everyone heard it, they all revealed astonished expressions. They instantly understood why Yang Wu obtained the title of number 1 Heavenly King. It turned out that the Young Hall King had really lost to Yang Wu. I will wait for you, Yang Wu simply replied. At this moment, the geniuses all looked at Yang Wu with admiration. They were older than Yang Wu and the Young Hall King, but the Young Hall King had always been above them. Now that Yang Wu had broken the Young Hall King's undefeated legend, they were all very happy. However, the people from Kunlun didn't think so. They felt that Yang Wu was defeated by Kuan Xian, so the title of number 1 Heavenly King should belong to Kuan Xian. Yang Wu, this is 7th Uncle. In the future, you can call him 7th Uncle with me. Yang Wu introduced Yang Hongchang to Yang Wu. Yang Wu nodded lightly and didn't open his mouth to call him 7th Uncle. It was better not to think too much of this relative. At this moment, someone cried out in alarm. Senior brother, what happened to you? Not good. This is Yiksha's poison. Quickly use the antidote. My senior brother has already taken the antidote. Why is he still poisoned? Junior sister, what happened to you? Could it be that you have also been poisoned by Yiksha's poison? Chapter 544. For some reason, there was a commotion among the geniuses. Some of them showed symptoms of being poisoned, and everyone was nervous. Soon, some of them concluded that it was not as simple as the Yiksha's poison. It was the Yiksha poison curse. Not only did it contain the Yaksha's poison, but it also had the evil curse on them. That was why their antidote pills did not work. If they could not get rid of the poison curse, their lives would be corroded and they would die. Let's get the Sacred Elder to help them. Someone cried out. It's useless even if the Sacred Elder comes. They can't get rid of the poison curse. They need the poison cleansing pill. Maybe they can survive. Someone replied. By the way, junior sister Qing Jing from the Hengshan sect has the world cleansing power. She can help them. Someone suggested. Thus, Qing Jing was found by someone. Qing Jing was a kind person. She did not hesitate at all and used the world cleansing sacred heart. She shone the power of the world cleansing sacred lotus on the geniuses who were poisoned by the Yaksha poison curse. These geniuses were the heavenly kings who went deep into the Yaksha tribe. They did not know when they were poisoned. If the poison curse was not cured, they would definitely die. As Qing Jing released the world cleansing power, the poison curse on their bodies was purified. However, many of the poison had penetrated deep into their bodies. Her purifying power was limited, and it was difficult to get rid of the poison curse completely. Qing Jing looked weak and said, Many of them are poisoned too deeply. I can't completely purify them. I'm sorry. Bring senior brother back to the sect. Maybe he can be saved. Who has the minor saint antidote pill? Maybe they can be saved. I'm afraid it's too late to go back now. Please help us. Many of the deacons were panicking. These geniuses were the future of their sections. If they died like this, it would be a great loss to any sect. A sacred elder came on a cloud. He was a white-haired sacred elder. His face was old, but his eyes were still bright. He was dressed in plain clothes, and his body was strong. He used his sensing power to scan the poison geniuses. Saint power fell from his palm, trying to get rid of the Yaksha poison curse. Unfortunately, the saint power was not omnipotent. It could not get rid of the evil curse. We must find a little saint pharmacist to cure their poison. The saint elder said in a deep voice. Another saintly voice sounded. This is a remote wasteland. It's not easy to find a little saint pharmacist here. Why don't we suppress their curse and bring them back for treatment? Thus, a few sage elders appeared and took away the poison geniuses from the various clans and quickly left this place. There were still more than 20 poison geniuses left behind. Those sage elders had nothing to do with them and had no intention of saving them. Sacred elders, don't go. Please save my junior sister. Elder Sheng, you can't do this. My senior brother finally became a heavenly king. How can you not save him? Hurry up and bring them back. They are not our sacred elders. This time, the sage elders who came to open the broken space were all from the top forces and sections. There weren't many of them. After these sage elders took away the geniuses of their sects, the other geniuses who didn't have sage elders who came had to suffer. Some of them asked Qing Jing to use her world-cleansing power to save them. Some of them were looking for other ways to cure the poison. Some are looking for antidotes. Some are looking for antidotes, and some are looking for alchemists. There was indeed an alchemist present. However, the antidote that this alchemist refined couldn't cure the poison curse. This place was shrouded in a haze. The geniuses didn't know what to do. If anyone can save my junior sister, I will definitely reward you handsomely. One of the geniuses cried as he hugged a beautiful woman. If anyone can cure my senior brother's poison, the Green Bamboo sect will reward you handsomely. Another voice sounded. Many of them were offering great rewards in hopes that the geniuses present would be able to offer some life-saving items. It was a pity that there were too few life-saving items. No one was willing to take them out so easily. At this moment, Yang Wu looked at Yang Wu worriedly and asked, Yang Wu, you aren't poisoned, right? He saw with his own eyes that Yang Wu went deep into the Yaksha tribe. He was really afraid that Yang Wu was also affected by the poison curse. Yang Wu ignored him and quickly flew in a direction. That was where the 5 heroes of the Proud Sword were. One of them was affected by the Yaksha poison curse. Big brother, you must hold on. Wave Sword Li Xiao looked at the poison Tang one and said worriedly, the Tang sect's hidden weapons are the best in the world. They are also unparalleled in the Tao of poison. Big brother will definitely be fine. She soared goo, she said in a self-deceiving manner. Everyone could see that Tang one was severely affected by the Yiksha poison curse. He probably wouldn't be able to hold on for much longer. Move aside. Let me take a look. Yang Wu landed and said. The other four swords all moved aside when they saw Yang Wu arrive. Among them, Golden Sword Yu Xan bowed and begged Yang Wu, Martial Heavenly King, please save my big brother. The other three came back to their senses and said to Yang Wu in unison, Martial Heavenly King, please save my big brother. They knew that Yang Wu was a heavenly alchemist. Maybe he really had a way to help. Yang Wu didn't respond to them. Instead, he observed Tang Wen's situation. He found that there seemed to be a yiksha gnawing on Tang Wen's soul between his eyebrows. There was also a poisonous gas surrounding his body that could take his life at any time. Yang Wu flipped through the high-level alchemy techniques that little He passed down to him. He quickly determined that there was a type of pill called poison-dissolving curse pill. This was a type of heavenly pill that was suitable to remove the Yiksha poison curse in front of him. It needed Yi Xingquan's help to refine it. Other than that, it also needed a few heavenly herbs. He looked through his inventory and was missing a heavenly flame fruit. He said loudly, Who is a heavenly flame fruit? I can refine a type of heavenly pill to remove the Yiksha poison curse in everyone's body. Everyone was stunned. They didn't know where Yang Wu got the confidence to say such a thing. However, some people could only try their best. They all asked the people around them who had a heavenly flame fruit. Someone said, I have 2 heavenly flame fruits. However, I can't give them to you for free. I can give you something of equivalent value in exchange. What's the point of trading at this time? Give it to Heavenly King Yang Wu first. Let's see how he saves people. When he saves them, everyone can compensate you. I wonder what level of alchemist Heavenly King Yang Wu is. If he is just refining an ordinary antidote, then don't waste your time. I think he is trying to cheat the medicine. Even Sacred Elder is helpless. What does he have to remove the Yiksha poison curse? Heavenly King Yang Wu, although your battle prowess is extraordinary, your alchemy skills are only average. Many people question Yang Wu. Yang Wu found it hard to explain. Would anyone believe him if he said he was a heavenly alchemist? At this moment, Yang Wu said, Heavenly King Yang Wu is a heavenly alchemist. Everyone, please believe him. 4 of the proud sword 5 heroes responded, confirming that Yang Wu was a heavenly alchemist. They hoped that the other party would give the heavenly flame fruits to Yang Wu. Please believe him. He really is a heavenly alchemist. Qing Jing's voice sounded weakly. No one believed what the first few people said. However, Qing Jing's words made many geniuses believe her. The person holding the heavenly flame fruit was still doubtful. The heavenly flame fruit was extremely valuable. How could it be given away so casually? He proposed a condition and said, Heavenly King Yang Wu, if you really want the heavenly flame fruit, take out 3 earth mystic chi, heavenly medicine, or a top-grade heaven skill to exchange for it. This guy was taking advantage of the situation. Bastard, can't you see that many people are poisoned? Can't you give the heavenly flame fruit to Heavenly King Yang Wu first? Yu Xen scolded angrily. If you scold me again, I won't trade, the genius replied coldly. All right, I'll trade with you, Yang Wu said. As such, he found a top-grade heavenly skill from among the Sky Prides that he had robbed and threw it at the Sky Prides. After confirming that there was no mistake, that genius was overjoyed. He then handed the heavenly flame fruit to Yang Wu and said, I hope you can really refine the antidote. Yang Wu took the heavenly flame fruit and said to Yang Jie, I'll refine the pill on the spot. Protect me. This. Yang Jie hesitated. Yang Hanchang said from the side, Interesting. Go ahead. If anyone dares to disturb you, I, Yang Hanchang, will kill them. The Yang clan was an ancient clan. Even if it had declined, it still had a reputation. Especially Yang Hanchang. He was the dark horse of the previous generation. His cultivation level was not high, but his combat power was extraordinary. He could kill a top-grade heavenly fish realm martial artist. When the surrounding geniuses heard Yang Wu's words, they revealed looks of anticipation. If Yang Wu could really refine the antidote, then their companions could be saved. However, there were only 2 heavenly flame fruits. At most, they could only refine 2 cauldrons of pills. 1 cauldron of pills could only refine 1 to 3 pills at most. How could it be enough for them to share? Yang Wu did not have time to care about what they were thinking. He had another purpose for refining the pill. The bronze cauldron appeared in front of Yang Wu. A ball of heart fire burned on the cauldron's wall, and stalks of herbs flew into the cauldron. All the sky prides were astonished. This is using the divine medicine technique. He's really a heavenly alchemist. No. Look at his divine medicine technique. He's even more powerful than a top-grade heavenly alchemist. He might already have the qualifications to become a little saint alchemist. There's hope. There's hope. He can definitely refine the antidote. I didn't expect the number 1 heavenly king to have such ability. He's really a genius. Even the hidden demons of the major factions don't have such ability. Yang Wu had condensed his soul body, so his alchemy technique was even faster. After many herbs fell into the cauldron, they turned into essence and were isolated by his soul power. There was no loss at all. When all the herbs were refined, a beast core fell into the bronze cauldron. The soul of a ferocious beast rushed out and tried to devour Yang Wu. Unexpectedly, Yang Wu's eyes were full of power, and the soul of the ferocious beast collapsed. Only an expert of the heavenly fish realm could have such power. Yang Wu had already entered the quasi-heavenly fish realm, so it was not a big deal for him to do it in advance. After refining the beast core, Yang Wu quickly condensed his pill. The sky was covered with dark clouds and lightning. Boom! Boom! Chapter 545. The art of alchemy was difficult, even harder than the path of Shu Mountain. This was a well-known fact in the transcendental realm. Alchemy required one state of mind: alchemy fire, alchemy power, and alchemy spirit. None of these 4 elements could be missing. There are countless geniuses in the transcendental realm, but only those born in the medicine sect or a powerful clan would be able to walk further down the path of alchemy. Otherwise, they would only be able to scratch the surface and never become a true master. Every outstanding alchemist was extraordinary. With their alchemy skills, they could cure hundreds of diseases, reshape bones, heal injuries, increase one's xian qi, and raise one's cultivation level. These were all things that a cultivator needed to rely on. Every genius alchemist would have a group of followers around them for their use. If the Sky Prides were not convinced that Yang Wu had become the number 1 heavenly king as a dark horse, they had no choice but to be convinced by Yang Wu's alchemy skills. His alchemy skills are so brilliant, comparable to many famous masters. Could it be that he started alchemy in his mother's womb? Look at how easy it is for him to refine the antidote. I just don't know what level it is. He's too fast. Maybe it's just a king-level pill. Can it cure the Yiksha poison curse? Look, there's a pill tribulation coming down. Judging by the momentum, it should be a heaven-level pill. Junior brother can be saved this time. The pill tribulation was merciless. 9 heavenly lightning bolts came crashing down like dragons and snakes. The power of the lightning bolts was enough to kill a celestial fish cultivator. The surrounding geniuses all felt their hearts skip a beat and quickly retreated for fear of being affected by the lightning bolts. It was at this moment that Yang Wu rushed towards this wave of lightning bolts as if he was welcoming the baptism of the lightning bolts. He was completely unafraid of the destructive power of the lightning bolts, causing the crowd to widen their eyes in shock. They didn't know how to describe Yang Wu's might. Ordinary cultivators would avoid the lightning bolts in the face, but Yang Wu took the initiative to meet them. He was no different from the son of the heavenly lightning bolts. Yang Wu had been through many lightning punishments and had tempered his acquired heavenly thunderbone in the broken space. Although it couldn't be compared to the innate heavenly thunderbone, it was enough for him to withstand the heavenly thunder without suffering any injuries. At the same time, he used the 9 thunders reshaping technique to continuously draw heavenly thunders into the heavenly thunderbone, further improving its quality. The 9 thunders reshaping body technique was a top-notch Xian formula for any warrior who cultivated Thunder Qianqi. Yang Wu did not cultivate Thunder Qianqi, but he also used it to refine his physique. Because of this, he was not killed by Lei Shuyang's heavenly thunder in the battle. This was the benefit of cultivating the 9 thunders reshaping body technique. In the first wave, 9 heavenly thunders fell. In the second wave, 12 heavenly thunders fell. In the third wave, 15 bolts of lightning struck down. A total of 6 waves of heavenly thunders fell. In the sixth wave, a mutated crimson fire thunder had appeared. The terrifying crimson fire thunder combined with the heavenly thunder could completely kill a high-level heavenly fish realm warrior. However, a blue flame swept out from Yang Wu's chest and swallowed a large amount of crimson fire thunder, reducing the power of the crimson fire thunder by half. It helped Yang Wu safely pass through this pill tribulation. Yang Wu's body was full of scars from being struck by lightning. His clothes were tattered, revealing a small divine armor, which was the good stuff he had plundered from Jiangping. The heavenly thunder dispersed, and the sky returned to normal. This cauldron of pills was completed. Yang Wu used the supreme 9 mysteries formula. Immortal qi flowed through his body, and his injuries were mostly healed. He walked toward the bronze cauldron. At this time, all the prodigies held their breaths and stared at the bronze cauldron. They hoped that the pills would be completed. Yang Wu opened the lid of the cauldron. A medicinal fragrance wafted for thousands of miles, and there was even a rainbow of pill light. These were all signs of the heavenly pill. "The pills are completed," everyone said in unison. Suddenly, someone rushed toward Yang Wu and shouted, "First Heavenly King, I want this pill. Please fulfill my wish. I will definitely compensate you double." The rest of the people reacted and rushed over, shouting loudly, "Heavenly King Yang Wu, can you give me the pill to save my junior sister? The sword sect will definitely repay you generously. I'm willing to exchange a dragon transformation stage battle technique for this pill." "How dare you? Are you trying to snatch this pill from the Dragon Tiger sect?" There were more than 20 prodigies with the Yiksha poison curse. They all knew that Yang Wu's pills were limited. If they didn't snatch the pills, their companions would die. If they snatched the pills, they might still have a chance of survival. These people kept arguing, and it was almost out of control. Yang Hanchang shouted from the side, "Are you trying to snatch my nephew's things?" With that, he released the power of an advanced heavenly fish realm cultivator. His battle prowess was comparable to that of a top-tier heavenly fish realm cultivator, and it shocked these prodigies. These prodigies had impressive battle prowess, but they were still inferior to the prodigies of the previous generation. The protectors and deacons of the various prodigies rushed over to help. They couldn't afford to lose the pills. Even if they had to snatch them, they had to snatch them. Yang Wu put away the cauldron and the pills. He said faintly, "If you continue to argue, I won't trade the pills." In an instant, everyone quieted down. The first heavenly king would not accept their threats. He was someone who had even defeated the Young Hall king. Seeing that everyone had quieted down, Yang Wu said, "Let me try to see if the pills are effective." With that, he squeezed through the crowd and walked toward Tang Wen's position. All the prodigies followed. They also wanted to know if Yang Wu's pills were effective. However, they were also worried that Yang Wu had only refined 1 pill. What would happen after he used it? "Heavenly King Yang Wu, please wait." Someone broke the silence again. Yang Wu looked at that person and asked, "What's the matter?" "Tang Wen is a disciple of the Tang sect, but our eldest brother, Tang Chong, is also under the Yiksha poison curse. You should use the pills on our eldest brother. No matter if it's effective or not, we won't blame you. How about it?" The person who spoke was a prodigy of the Tang sect called Tang Tuming. He was at the peak of the Earth-Sea realm. Yang Wu smiled and did not reply. He continued to walk toward Tang Wen. Tang Tuming blocked Yang Wu's path and said again, "Heavenly King Yang Wu, didn't you want to befriend the Tang sect? Tang Wen has no status in the Tang sect. Don't make a mistake." Scram! Yang Wu frowned and shouted. Yang Wu had received the holy light blessing, and his aura was astonishing. How could Tang Tuming withstand it? Tang Tuming only felt as if a dragon was suppressing him. He was so frightened that he kept retreating and almost fell to the ground. "You'll regret it," Tang Tuming shouted angrily out of humiliation. Yang Wu didn't care about the other party. He came in front of Tang Wan and handed a pill with 2 lines to Gu Shi. "Feed him the pill." "Thank you, Heavenly King Wu," Gu Shi said gratefully. This was a second tribulation heaven pill. Its medicinal power was extraordinary. Even if it could not cure Tang Wan's poison curse, it could definitely suppress it. After Gu Shi fed Tang Wan the pill, everyone stared at Tang Wan to see if Yang Wu's pill was really effective. Woo woo. In front of Tang Wan's forehead, there was a faint sound of a yiksha struggling and screaming. Soon, a cloud of cursed mist flew out from his forehead. It turned into a yiksha and wanted to pounce on the people around it. Unfortunately, it dissipated in front of the heaven and earth mystic chi. His poison curse has been removed. The remaining yiksha's poison is not difficult. What kind of antidote is this? It can even remove the yiksha's poison curse. How magical! Heavenly King Yang Wu, how many antidote pills did you refine just now? I want to make a deal with you. Yes, yes. Heavenly King Yang Wu, we want to make a deal with you. Name a price. As long as we can afford it, we're willing to do it. Heavenly King Yang Wu, we're from Mount Amei. As long as you're willing to give us the pills, you can gain the friendship of Mount Amei. Mount Amei is nothing. Our dragon and tiger sect also needs pills. As long as Heavenly King Yang Wu gives us the pills, I guarantee that you'll be an honored guest of the dragon and tiger sect. Many people from the major forces left, but there were also a few geniuses from the major forces who had yet to leave. This time, they did not have the sacred elder to come. They had inner sect deacons guarding them, but they did not have the antidote. They had no choice but to put down their status and ask for an antidote just to save their companions. The geniuses who were poisoned could not hold on for much longer. Yang Wu was their only hope. Yang Wu spoke again. "The detoxification and curse-breaking pill that I refined is a second tribulation heaven pill. You should know how valuable it is. I'm not a philanthropist. I just used a top-grade heaven skill to exchange for 2 heavenly flame fruits. If any of you want the detoxification and curse-breaking pill, show me your sincerity. Remember, there's a limit to the pills." The geniuses were in an uproar now. Yang Wu was obviously letting them compete to see who was more willing to take out something better to exchange for the pills. Yang Hongchang's expression changed when he looked at Yang Wu. At first, he was close to Yang Wu because he was the #1 heavenly king and possibly a member of the Yang clan. Now, Yang Wu displayed unparalleled alchemy skills. He was neither servile nor overbearing in the face of so many rich and powerful families. He was also shrewd and ruthless in dealing with things. This was not something a young man who was not even 20 years old could do. "It seems like I have to acknowledge him as my relative," Yang Hongchang thought to himself. At this moment, Tang Wan's poison curse had been completely dispelled. He regained consciousness and hurriedly thanked Yang Wu. At this moment, the geniuses were even more convinced that Yang Wu's pills were effective. The geniuses began to compete and put out their chips to exchange for the pills in Yang Wu's hands. Some of the major forces wanted to pressure Yang Wu and force Yang Wu to take the initiative to offer the pills. Among them, Mount Amei, the Dragon Tiger sect, and the Tang sect were the most domineering. "Heavenly King Yang Wu, I heard that you came from the Great Xia dynasty. That should be the mortal territory of our Mount Amei. As long as you offer the pills, we can guarantee your Yang clan 100 years of wealth in the Great Xia dynasty." A deacon from Mount Amei said softly. There were 2 people in Mount Amei who were cursed by the Yiksha poison curse. One of them was the Holy Maiden of Mount Amei. She had the small sage pill and had already dispelled the Yiksha poison curse. However, the other person did not have the small sage pill and could not suppress the Yiksha poison curse. The dragon and tiger sect's little celestial master opened his mouth and said, "Yang Wu, give the pill to our dragon and tiger sect, and we can forget about the matter of you cultivating the dragon flame fist. Otherwise, our dragon and tiger sect will investigate this matter thoroughly. Our Tang sect needs the antidote." Chapter 546. Mount Amei, the dragon tiger sect, and the Tang sect were all superpowers in the transcendent world. They had been established for a long time. Not only did they have saints, but they also had vast territories and millions of disciples. It was unwise for anyone to offend them. If Yang Wu was from the king of Hell's palace, he might be able to intimidate them. However, it had been proven that he was not from the king of Hell's palace and was only from the mortal world. This meant that he had no power behind him to rely on. Thus, these superpowers could use their power to suppress him. Even the number one heavenly king was just a peerless genius who had yet to mature. The geniuses of the other powers were very dissatisfied, but they could not refute. Their powers were not as strong as these superpowers. How could they dare to challenge them? Yang Hongchang wanted to help Yang Wu, but after thinking about it, he shut his mouth. Their Yang clan was still recuperating. They could not afford to be tormented. Yang Wu looked at the people from Mount Amei, the Dragon Tiger sect, and the Tang sect. He smiled faintly and said, Mount Amei, the Dragon Tiger sect, and the Tang sect are really impressive. I won't trade my pills with you. You can leave now. How dare you? How dare you? You're so arrogant. You deserve to die. The people from these three clans all looked at Yang Wu with murderous intent. Many of their auras had already locked onto Yang Wu. As long as they gave the order, they would definitely teach Yang Wu a lesson. Nephew, don't be rash. Let's talk things out. Let's talk things out. Yang Hongchang persuaded. Yang Wu ignored Yang Hongchang and looked at the other powers who had not spoken. He said, My pills are limited. These three clans want to take them by force. Does everyone agree? If you think that there's no way to reason with them, then I'll destroy the pills and not give them to them. The people from the other powers could not suppress their anger. Although they were not as strong as the three superpowers, they would not be bullied so easily. Someone reprimanded. The three of you are using your power to suppress others. How shameless. The Sword Sect is willing to exchange 3 heaven skills for 1 pill and 50,000 mid-grade Xian Spirit Stones. That's right. This elixir depends on one's ability. Our Red Cloth Sect is willing to exchange a heavenly mystic technique, a heavenly skill, a heavenly weapon, and 60,000 mid-grade Xian Spirit Stones for the elixir. No matter who tries to stop me from saving Senior Brother, I'll fight it out with him. I'm willing to give you 10 heavenly medicines, 100 herb kings, and an incomplete dragon transformation battle skill. My family doesn't have that many good things. I'm willing to exchange 1 alchemy book for 1 pill. For the sake of saving people, the various forces were not afraid of offending the 3 major forces. They all began to compete. The expressions of the people from the 3 forces turned ugly. Yang Wu's words had completely destroyed their hopes of saving their own geniuses. Yang Wu, you deserve to die. The deacon of Mount Amei angrily rebuked. He raised his hand and prepared to attack Yang Wu. Yang Hongchang appeared beside Yang Wu 1 step ahead. He stared at the deacon of Mount Amei and said, Mount Amei's canon of extinction is heartless. I'm here to ask for advice. Yang Wu continued, Whoever helps me stop the people who want to kill me, I'll give you the pill free of charge. This caused an uproar among the crowd. A deacon of the Xiaoyao sect stood out and said, Whoever makes an enemy of the first heavenly king is an enemy of the Xiaoyao sect. The Sword Sect is not afraid of trouble. Whoever dares to touch the first heavenly king will have to face the sword in my hand. The deacon of the Sword Sect said loudly. Following that, the deacons of the other forces all spoke out. They united to glare at the 3 major forces and protected Yang Wu behind them. Although the people from the 3 major forces were strong, they could not win against so many forces working together. They could only suppress their impulses and did not dare to attack Yang Wu again. The deacon of Mount Amei took a deep breath and spoke again. The Mount Amei sect will exchange 1 lesser saint skill for 1 pill. The Dragon and Tiger sect is willing to exchange 1 dragon and tiger body enhancing pill for 1 pill. The Dragon and Tiger sect's young celestial master narrowed his eyes and said, The Tang sect is willing to exchange 1 torrential rain sword for 1 pill. The Tang sect's deacon said. When the other forces heard what the 3 parties said, their eyes widened. A lesser saint skill was a battle skill for the dragon transformation realm. It could be considered a mid-sized force's greatest treasure. Its value far exceeded any heaven pill. The dragon and tiger body enhancing pill was even more extraordinary. It was a pill unique to the dragon and tiger sect. It was made from the bones of a dragon and the blood of tiger. It was a lesser saint pill and could be used to refine a lesser saint battle body. If it was anywhere else, even 10 heaven pills could not be exchanged for one dragon and tiger body enhancing pill. As for the Tang sect's torrential rain sword, it was not bad either. It was a terrifying hidden weapon that could shoot out 49 arrows at once. It could instantly kill a heavenly fish realm expert. It was a hidden weapon unique to the Tang sect. With the 3 major forces participating in the competition, the other forces would not be able to compete. It all depended on Yang Wu's choice. Yang Hongchang gulped and said, "I'll take the dragon and tiger body enhancing pill. It's the best body enhancing pill. I think it should be a lesser saint skill. It can increase one's battle strength." Yang Jie said from the side, "The Tang sect's hidden weapons are unparalleled. It's best not to miss it." Someone whispered, "Who would have thought that Yang Wu would say with disdain, 'I've already said that you guys are already excluded. Even if you take out a true saint artifact, you won't be able to exchange it for a single pill from me.'" At this moment, the other forces' worries were gone. At the same time, they secretly admired Yang Wu's courage. He actually dared to offend these 3 forces. After this matter, his life would most likely be in danger. "All right, from today onwards, you are the enemy of our Mount Amei." The Mount Amei deacon could no longer tolerate Yang Wu and said ruthlessly, "My dragon and tiger sect will definitely pursue the matter of the dragon flame fist." The dragon and tiger sect's little celestial master said coldly, "Yang Wu, you better think carefully." The Tang sect deacon said with a trace of killing intent. Scram! Yang Wu could not be bothered to respond to them and unceremoniously reprimanded them. "We'll remember this. Let's go." The people of Mount Amei did not want to delay any longer. They turned around and quickly left with their poison prodigies. The number 1 heavenly king is only a heavenly king, not a sky dragon. The tallest tree in the forest will be destroyed by the wind. Good luck. The people of the Dragon and Tiger sect and Tang sect also said ruthless words and left. If it wasn't for the other forces protecting Yang Wu, they would have definitely turned hostile. After they left, everyone's eyes fell on Yang Wu again. They hoped that Yang Wu would take out the antidote pill. Yang Wu cupped his hands towards the people who supported him and said, "Thank you for your help. I have a Night Star Spring here. It can also suppress the poison curse. At least you'll be fine for 7 days. Everyone can come and get a share. Consider it a gift from me." Everyone was overjoyed. With the Night Star Spring, their urgent needs were solved. 7 days was enough for them to bring their companions back to their sects for treatment. Yang Wu asked for jade containers from everyone. He gave everyone a small cup of the Night Star Spring to help the poison prodigy survive. Many forces were grateful to Yang Wu. They only supported Yang Wu and received a chance to relieve the poison curse. It was really a big gain. Those who did not support Yang Wu regretted it too late. They could only ask to continue trading antidote pills or Night Star Spring. Yang Wu had just refined a total of 7 antidote curse pills. He gave Tang Wen 1, so there were 6 left. He took out 4 to trade and received many good things. Some people could not trade for the antidote curse pills, but they traded for the Night Star Spring. It could at least help their companion survive for 7 days. When the time came, there would be a way to save them. The people of the Carefree sect and Sword sect were grateful to Yang Wu. They also invited Yang Wu to be a guest at their sects in the future. These were all polite words, but to Yang Wu, it was enough. He had already offended many great forces. He did not want to offend others too. Otherwise, it would be difficult for him to move forward in the transcendent world. The day passed quickly. Those who should have come out had all come out, and those who did not could not come out. The gate of holy light was completely closed, and a holy voice rang out in this world. First Heavenly King, Yang Wu. Second Heavenly King, Young Hall King. Third Heavenly King, Shui Tu. The top 10 Heavenly Kings were promoted by the saints. Each of them received a generous reward, especially Yang Wu. Among his rewards was the flawless saint heart. It was a sacred item that could help people become saints. It was a priceless item. Unfortunately, Yang Wu had already promised to give it to the Purple Cloud Palace. This reward could not be given to him at all. Yang Wu did not feel bad. As long as it could relieve the enmity between him and the Purple Cloud Palace, he was willing to pay any price. The Heavenly King ranking competition came to an end. The various forces dispersed. Before leaving, Yang Wu went to bid farewell to Qing Jing. He gave her a large portion of a Night Star Spring. Qing Jing wanted to refuse, but Yang Wu gave it to her to repay her kindness. She had no choice but to accept it. Junior sister, take care. I will visit you at Mount Hung when I have time. Yang Wu smiled like a spring breeze and waved goodbye to Qing Jing. The biggest gain from accidentally entering the broken space was to get to know Qing Jing. She was a kind and simple little nun. She was worthy of anyone's protection. Qing Jing's face blushed slightly. She bowed to Yang Wu and said, "Senior brother Yang, take care." Then, she hurriedly left with her senior sisters. However, there was a trace of reluctance in her heart. When the crowd was almost gone, the 5 heroes of Roaming Sword came to Yang Wu's side and bowed to thank him. "Martial Heavenly King, we have thought about it. We are willing to follow you," Tang Wen said sincerely on behalf of the 5 heroes. The other 4 heroes looked at Yang Wu with anticipation. They hoped that Yang Wu would grant them their wish. Yang Wu smiled and said, "It's not that you can't follow me. However, I don't even have a place to go. I'm afraid that you will be tired." The 5 of us became sworn brothers to roam the world. No matter how hard or tiring it is, we can bear it, Zheng Su said while patting his chest. "That's right. We are willing to follow Martial Heavenly King." Li Xiao, Uxin, and Gu, she said in unison. They all thought highly of Yang Wu. They would not be at a disadvantage if they followed him. "This matter is not urgent. I will give you a day to consider. I have just offended someone," Yang Wu reminded them. He did not like to force others. However, he needed absolute loyalty to those who followed him. "Martial Heavenly King, you are a member of our Yang clan. They will not be at a disadvantage if they follow you," Yang Jie reminded from the side. "This matter is not clear yet. It is not easy to make a conclusion," Yang Wu said in a deep voice. "Yang Wu, don't be modest. I can see that you are a descendant of our Yang family. Only our Yang family can produce such an evildoer like you. Quickly accompany me back to the family to acknowledge our relatives," Yang Hongchong said impatiently. Chapter 547. Yang Wu was proficient in both martial arts and alchemy. He was a monstrous existence. Yang Hongchong was concerned about the rise of the Yang family and naturally hoped that Yang Wu would return to the family as soon as possible. Through Yang Jie's description, he was 90% sure that Yang Wu belonged to the Yang family. "I only want to find my grandfather," Yang Wu said solemnly. His grandfather had already found the Yang family in order to find his roots, but from Yang Jie's words, his grandfather's situation didn't seem good. Okay, who do you want to find? We will help you," Yang Hongchong replied straightforwardly. Yang Jie said from his side, "That's right, Martial Heavenly King, come back to the Yang family with us. You and your grandfather will definitely be reunited." Yang Wu thought for a moment and replied, "Okay, I will go back with you." Now, he had nowhere to go. The Yang family might be a good place to reunite with his grandfather. Thinking about it, he hadn't seen his grandfather for 10 years. Thus, Yang Hongchong summoned an item. It was a flying boat. This boat was less than 8 feet long and 6 feet wide. The boat's bow was like a fish with wings on both sides and a tail at the back. The boat's body was made of heavenly materials, and there was a formation engraved on it that could use mysterious spirit stones to drive it to fly. It belonged to the fish-shaped flying boat series. Flying boats, ancient chariots, puppet carriages, cloud-piercing shuttles, and so on were all flying objects. Each of them was expensive and were basically in the hands of major forces. It was very difficult for ordinary forces to own them. Yang Hongchong's fish-shaped flying boat belonged to the low-grade category. As long as one had enough money, they could still buy it. It was Yang Wu's first time seeing this kind of flying object. He felt that it was an eye-opener. He thought to himself, "The transcendent world is more interesting than I imagined. Quickly get on the boat. I will bring you all to fly." Yang Hongchang smiled proudly. He obtained this fish-shaped flying boat by accident. Who knew how many people envied him? Yang Wu, Yang Jie, and the 5 heroes of the proud sword boarded the airship. 2 other disciples of the Yang family also boarded the airship. Yang Hongchang activated the array, and the fish-shaped airship quickly flew away like a fish in water. Yang Wu sensed the speed, and it was obviously not inferior to the flying speed of a top-notch heavenly fish realm cultivator. He observed the interior of the flying boat. There were arrays carved on the left and right, and there was an eye of the array. There were Xian spirit stones embedded in the eye of the array. There was also a beast core at the head of the fish, which was the power to support the flying boat. Every flight would consume a certain amount of Xian spirit stones. A short journey would consume less, but a long journey would consume more. Ordinary martial artists would not be able to afford it if they did not have the corresponding wealth. This time, in order to bring Yang Wu back to the Yang family as soon as possible, Yang Hongchang used it. Normally, he wouldn't use it carelessly as his finances were tight. "Seventh uncle, you're finally heroic for once." Yang Jie praised. "What do you mean? Isn't seventh uncle usually heroic?" Yang Hongchang asked. Who doesn't know that seventh uncle is a miser? There are very few people who can pluck feathers from you. Good lad, seventh uncle doesn't treat you unfairly. How dare you insult seventh uncle like this? I'll teach you a lesson later. Don't think that you can be arrogant just because you've improved a little. Seventh uncle, you're taking revenge. You're right, I'm taking revenge. The flying boat hadn't flown far when a sudden force shrouded it and forced it to stop. Everyone on the boat was frightened and panicked. Suddenly, a bloody palm came from the sky. This palm was extremely terrifying. It was as if the sky was collapsing and could completely destroy a small world. "Which saint is it? Please be magnanimous." Yang Hongchang roared as he controlled the airship. His combat strength was not bad, but compared to a saint, it was like the difference between heaven and earth. There was no comparison. The others were scared out of their wits. They did not even have the courage to use their power. The might of a saint was inviolable and irresistible. Just as the bloody palm was about to fall on the airship, a bolt of heavenly thunder exploded and landed on the bloody palm. In an instant, the bloody palm was blown to pieces. A powerful air wave swept out, and the airship almost lost control. Fortunately, there was another force supporting the airship, which shrouded it and prevented it from being affected. "Humph! You want to stop me from killing people? It's not that easy." A sacred sound rang out in the void, and an even more powerful bloody palm slapped towards the airship. The power of heaven and earth was held in the palm, which was many times more powerful than the Xian-Chi of heaven and earth mobilized by the celestial fish realm. The celestial fish realm could only mobilize the Xian-Chi of heaven and earth, but a saint could control this power at will and destroy all living things. "With me here, you can't kill anyone." Another sacred sound rang out, and thunder and lightning flew out from the clouds, forming a sea of thunder and suppressing the bloody palm. Not only that, but the power of thunder and lightning also broke through the void on the other side, attacking the saint who had launched a sneak attack. The 2 saints fought secretly in the void, and heaven and earth were connected. It was as if there were blood clouds descending, and also as if the god of thunder had appeared. The world was dark and bright, and airwaves were rolling. The boat swayed unsteadily. At some point, Yang Wu opened his soul eye and looked up at the void. Blood and tears oozed out of his 3 eyes. A battle between saints could not be seen by those below the level of a saint. Yang Wu wanted to see who wanted to kill him, and also wanted to see how powerful a battle between saints was. Unexpectedly, he suffered a backlash from the saint power, and his 3 eyes were bleeding. If he had not been protected by the divine Qi, he would have been blinded on the spot. Vaguely, he saw someone attacking like a bloody demon. The power of killing gods and immortals was extremely terrifying. On the other side, a thunder saint appeared, and the power of thunder and lightning could destroy heaven and earth. The 2 saints fought, and heaven and earth could not stop them. Yang Wu only watched for 10 breaths, then closed his eyes and retracted his soul eye. He quickly channeled divine qi into his eyes to heal. Martial Heavenly King, are you okay? The five heroes' swords asked worriedly. Yang Wu shook his head gently and said, I'm fine, don't worry. A thick bloody aura. Could it be the saint of the House of Blood Fiend? Why would they attack us for no reason? Yang Hongchang narrowed his eyes and said to himself, They should be coming for me. Yang Wu said calmly. In the blood WIRM nest, he had killed the prodigy of the House of Blood Fiend. The other party was coming for revenge. Didn't they say that all the grudges in the broken space should be settled in the outside world? Yang Jia said angrily. This is an unwritten rule for ordinary forces, but it's not the case for the major forces, Tang Wen said from the side. Then, he said to Yang Wu, Why don't you come back to the Tang sect with me? I can resolve the grudges between you and the Tang sect. If you really had the ability, the Tang sect disciples wouldn't have snatched the pills in front of you. Yang Wu shook his head and said, Martial Heavenly King, you really underestimate my big brother. He's Tang. Gu, she said from the side. Before she could finish, Tang Wen interrupted, Fifth brother, don't say anything unimportant. I believe that Martial Heavenly King is blessed by the heavens. Nothing will happen to him. Tang Wen seemed to be hiding some unknown secret. The battle between the saints started quickly and ended quickly. The blood clouds quietly dispersed, and the lightning disappeared. The sky returned to normal as if nothing had happened. The power that enveloped the flying boat disappeared, and everyone on the flying boat came back to their senses. Their foreheads and backs were drenched in sweat. Let's go. Yang Hongchang didn't want to stay for a moment. He was ready to leave at full speed, but at this time, two people appeared in front of the flying boat. He was so scared that he quickly stopped the flying boat, giving everyone a fright. Go, girl. I'll give you 2 hours. After 2 hours, we'll return to the palace together. The middle-aged man said with an old voice. As soon as he finished speaking, he disappeared, leaving only the girl who came with him. This girl had bright eyes and white teeth. She had a fine nose and jade-like lips. Her purple hair fluttered in the wind, and her skin was like snow. She was like a fairy that had descended to the mortal world. When Yang Wu saw this woman, he cried out involuntarily, Slug! He rushed out of the flying boat at a speed as fast as lightning. The girl flew towards him like a light breeze. The two of them met in midair and hugged each other tightly. They didn't know how long they had waited for this moment. It seemed like a long era had passed, but it also seemed like a lifetime had passed. It was very precious. It seems that we have to leave for a while. Yang Hongchang sighed softly. He steered the flying boat and led everyone away, giving the two of them some space. The two hugged each other tightly for less than half a quarter of an hour before separating. Their eyes met, full of tenderness and deep thoughts. Their love was stronger than gold. Slug, your nose is running again. Yang Wu looked at Ziyu seriously and said. Ziyu gasped and quickly covered her nose. Who knew that she was teased by Yang Wu? She patted Yang Wu's chest and said, Brother Wu, you're so bad. I stopped running a long time ago. Haha, but I think you're the cutest when your nose is running. Yang Wu laughed. Then I'll show you in the future. Then I'll wipe it on your body and dirty your clothes. Let's see if you can still laugh. Even if you wipe your nose all over my body, I'll be happy. Brother Wu, I miss you so much. I miss you too, Slug. The two grew up innocently, and no one was more intimate than them. They didn't know when it started, but they had already gotten used to each other's existence. 3 years ago, they were forced to separate, and their hearts were cut by a knife. If it wasn't for the 3-year agreement, they didn't know if they could hold on. He remembered that after Ziyu left, Yang Wu was dispirited for half a year. He only pulled himself together after the Yang clan was raided. The two came to the peak of a mountain below and hugged each other, telling each other their heartfelt feelings. Yang Wu talked about what happened after they separated. Ziyu's heart ached when she heard this, especially when she heard that Tang Yinjiao had caused the Yang family to be confiscated. She cursed out loud, that slut deserves to die. Later, when she heard that Yang Wu was bullied, she felt like her heart was being cut by a knife. She couldn't wait to suffer for Yang Wu. She kept touching Yang Wu's resolute face and said, When I become stronger, I won't let anyone bully Brother Wu anymore. Silly, I should be the one saying that to you. Come with me. Yang Wu held her delicate hand and said, I'm sorry, Brother Wu. I can't go with you right now. Is it because of the purple firmament palace? Yes. Chapter 548. A gentle breeze blew past the nameless mountain. The grass bent and the clouds dispersed. At the peak of the mountain, a golden boy and jade girl sat on a rock. The boy was handsome and the girl was beautiful. The beautiful scenery around them was overshadowed by them. The two of them talked about some intimate things as time passed by. Soon, the 2 hours were about to end. Yu, it's almost time. A sacred voice echoed faintly in their ears. The youth's heart tightened. He held the girl's delicate hand even tighter. He called out reluctantly, Yu, Brother Wu, I'm leaving. The girl said reluctantly with tears in her eyes. Then she said seriously, if Brother Wu is really good to me, please work hard in your cultivation and reach the dragon transformation realm as soon as possible, or even become a true sage. Then we can go back to the past and live a carefree life. Don't worry, I can become the #1 heavenly king in 2 years. What else can I not do? Give me 3 more years, and I will definitely step into the purple firmament palace and marry you openly. The youth said solemnly, Yes, I believe Brother Wu can do it. The girl nodded her head and said firmly. Then she said, Before that, please don't be so impulsive. The major forces in the transcendent realm are very powerful. They can easily destroy a country with a flip of their hand. Even saints don't dare to offend them. You must remember this. After she finished speaking, she handed an interspatial ring to Yang Wu and said, These are some things that I have collected for you over the past 3 years. Originally, I wanted to give them to you in person when we returned to Great Xia. You may not need so many of them now, but I still want to give them to you as a token of my appreciation. Yang Wu took Yu Yu's universe ring. He knew very well that she had done many things for him in the past 3 years. Perhaps she thought that he didn't have a good cultivation mystic art into Xia. Perhaps she thought that he didn't have any good battle skills into Xia. Perhaps she thought that he didn't have any pills to increase his strength. He didn't need to guess to know what was inside. He knew this girl too well. No matter where she was, her heart was tied to him. He couldn't help but feel a little guilty. He had done too little for her. He also took out a universe ring and picked up Yu Yu's hand. He said emotionally, Yu, let's exchange tokens of love today. From today onwards, you are my fiancé. Do you agree? Yu Yu blushed and replied, I. Before she could finish speaking, the voice of the purple firmament palace elder Yu Yu's time. Ziyuan knew the intentions of this elder Sheng. Without hesitation, she said loudly to Yang Wu, Brother Wu, I promise you that from now on, I will be your fiancé. After she finished speaking, she snatched Yang Wu's universe ring and gave Yang Wu a quick kiss. Then, she turned into a baby swallow and flew back to the purple firmament palace elder. Yang Wu wanted to pull her back, but he only caught a purple strip of cloth that she had left behind. This was a hair accessory that had been taken from her hair. It still had the fragrance of her body. He grabbed it and shouted, Slug, I won't marry anyone else but you. A voice responded, I won't marry anyone else but you. The girl disappeared. Only the clear sky remained, leaving behind the faint sorrow of parting. Yang Wu looked into the distance and tied the purple strip of cloth to his long hair. His eyes were filled with an unprecedented fighting spirit. He swore in his heart, Purple Firmament Palace Elder, wait for me. It won't be long before I come and take my wife away. The airship reappeared. Yang Hanshang called out to Yang Wu, Nephew, come. Uncle will take you flying. Yang Wu returned to the airship and cupped his hands at the crowd. Then he said, This is my first time in the transcendental world. Can any of you tell me about the situation here? Or do you have any books that I can read to broaden my horizons? This time, Yang Wu opened his heart and communicated with everyone. He did not choose to avoid them, nor did he hide anything. He wanted to integrate into the transcendental world to prepare for the future. You've asked the right person. I'm known as Bai Xiaosheng. About the transcendental world, Yang Hanchang bragged. Before he could finish, Yang Jie said, Seventh uncle, stop bragging. I have a book called Epic of Domains here. Take it and read it first. After you finish reading it, we'll tell you more about the transcendental world. Yang Wu thanked Yang Jie and took the Epic of Domains. He sat cross-legged at the end of the airship and began reading. The people on the airship were full of admiration for Yang Wu. They never thought that such a peerless genius would appear in the mortal world. They were certain that Yang Wu must have had some fortuitous encounter. The Epic of Domains mainly recorded the situation of the various domains in the transcendental world. The transcendental world was vast and boundless. There were famous mountains, rivers and seas, strange and dangerous places. There were many races, and the population was in the hundreds of billions. It was a holy land for the great struggle of the world. Here, every race pursued martial arts for longevity. Their goal of survival was extremely clear. At present, Yang Wu and company were located in the southwest. It was located in the middle and lower part of the Yangtze River. There were many strange mountains densely packed in between the mountain ranges. It was known as the Xiangjiang boundary. This place was very rich in minerals. There were firestones, blue crystals, scales, and so on. Many refining families were gathered here. It was one of the holy lands for refining weapons and also one of the origins of the world's combat weapons. In addition, the water demon race was very powerful. There were also the spirit demon race here. There were also the water race living here. The water race was a race that lived on the banks of the Yangtze River. They looked like humans, but they were not. They were born with the ability to control water and were allies with the water demon race. The power in the vicinity was the Hung Mountain sect, which was a branch of the Five Mountain Swords. The Hung Mountain sect was known as the chivalrous sect. It was connected with the other four sects and was known as the Five Mountain sect. It was comparable to a giant power. The Hung Mountain sect alone could only be considered a first-rate power. The Epic of Domains introduced that the powers were divided into different grades. The strongest were the top giant powers, such as the Longevity Hall, Purple Firmament Hall, Kunlun, and so on. There were also high-level powers that were weaker than the top powers. They were called first-rate powers, such as the Sword Sect, the Nine-Blade Sect, the Qingchang Sect, the Black Cave Sect, and some ancient families. There were also mid-level and low-level powers that were distributed in every domain. The Yang clan was located in the upper reaches of the South Yangtze River. It was very far from here. If they only relied on this flying boat to get there, Yang Hongchong would probably go bankrupt. Therefore, they had to go to the Hung Mountain sect and borrow a spatial gate to go to the battle race realm where the Yang clan was located. A spatial gate was a formation gate. It could instantly send anyone to a domain. This was a holy formation. It was almost impossible for a power without a saint to have a spatial gate. Uxin was an inner disciple of the Hung Mountain sect. His status in the Hung Mountain sect was not bad. It was only because of some reasons that he did not want to stay in the Hung Mountain sect to cultivate, so he chose to come out to temper himself. Every sect's disciples had different cultivation methods. Generally, after a disciple reached the Earthsea realm, they would be allowed to go out and gain experience in order to obtain more resources. As long as they occasionally returned to the sect and participated in some important events, they would be fine. Fourth brother, we'll borrow a path from your Hung Mountain sect. Is there a problem? Zheng Su asked Uxin. Uxin patted his chest and said, yes, there definitely won't be a problem. The Hung Mountain sect has a reputation for being chivalrous. We should be able to borrow a path. Yang Hongchang agreed. Soon, the flying boat flew in the direction of Hung Mountain. Yang Wu had completely digested the domain era and had a general understanding of the transcendent realm. He was not as ignorant as before. Yang Wu asked Uxin, I heard that the Five Mountain sect represents the five great sects. Your Hung Mountain sect is one of the five great sects. The other four sects are so far away. How did you unite to contend against the other major powers? The domain era recorded that the Five Mountain sect was divided into the Taishan sect, Huashan sect, Song Mountain sect, Hung Mountain sect, and Hung Mountain sect. Each sect's geographical location was not in the same realm. The Taishan sect's eastern peak, Taishan Mountain, was the place where the sect was founded. The western peak, Huashan Mountain, was an immortal mountain-blessed land. It was the birthplace of the first sword saint, the founder of the sword sect. The middle peak, Song Mountain sect, was the closest to Song Mountain Shaolin Temple. They occupied the Guanxing Peak, the place where ancient great powers worshipped. The southern peak, Hung Mountain, was a place where mountains and rivers gathered. It was a place where the chi of righteousness gathered. Without waiting for Yuexion's explanation, Gushi impatiently said, "The Five Mountain sect is a major power formed in the last 10,000 years. In the past, the major sects were only considered to be first-rate powers. However, because the demon sect and the evil race roamed the five mountains, the five sects formed an alliance. Whichever side was attacked by the demon sect or the evil race, they would quickly join forces to exterminate the demon sect. That is why the Five Mountains sect is united. Other than that, the Five Mountains should be focused on the cultivation of sword techniques. That is why the Five Mountain sect is also known as the Five Mountain Sword Sect. It can be compared to the sword sect of Shu Mountain." Li Xiao added, "That is true. The various sects of the Five Mountain sect have extraordinary sword techniques. Among them, Mount Hua is the representative. In the past, we would go to Mount Hua to discuss the sword every 10 years. However, because Mount Hua sent out a traitor, the inheritance of the first sword sage was split into two. Now, the Mount Tai sect and the Mount Song sect are the strongest. Rumor has it that the next sword meet will be held at the pilgrimage grounds. This means that the Mount Song sect has a chance to take back the position of sect leader." Yuexion replied. After a pause, he sighed softly and said, "My Mount Heng is still a little weak. 1,000 years ago, my sect's guardian sage could have won the title of sect leader for Mount Heng. Unfortunately, he was besieged and killed by the demon sect sages. The demon sect is represented by the king of Hell's palace?" Yang Wu asked again. Before Yuexion could answer, Yang Hongchang said softly, "Everyone, get ready. There are outsiders flying towards us." Everyone looked in the direction Yang Hongchang pointed. Indeed, a group of outsiders appeared in front of them. Yuexion cried out, "Oh no, it's the Blackwater tribe." Chapter 549. The water race was divided into 3 tribes. The first was the Blackwater race, the second was the Whitewater race, and the third was the Icewater race. The Blackwater clan and the Whitewater clan lived near this area. The Blackwater clan represented evil, while the Whitewater clan represented kindness. The two extreme clans occupied different living areas, and there were conflicts between them over water. In the past, the Blackwater clan and the Whitewater clan were equal in strength, and no one could do anything to the other. However, things had changed in the past 1,000 years. After the Demon Clan supported the Blackwater clan, the Whitewater clan was completely suppressed and almost exterminated. In the end, the wise man of the Whitewater race contacted the Hung Mountain sect of the human race and was able to resist the Blackwater race. Therefore, the human race became the target of the Blackwater race, especially the disciples of the Hung Mountain sect, who were definitely the enemy of the Blackwater race. The airship was already close to the Mount Hung sect. If they had flown in another direction, they might not have encountered the Blackwater race. However, the airship was now above the Yangtze River. It was not strange for them to encounter the Blackwater race. It was Yuexion's fault for forgetting to remind Yang Hongchang. The Blackwater race were humanoid with 3 dark green eyes. Hair grew from the tips of their ears and protruding fangs. Their bodies were covered in strange black scales. Their backs were bone-piercing, and their limbs were covered in soft leather armor. They could swim freely in water. There were 50 Blackwater race members in front of them. They flew in the air, each holding a weapon. Their target was the airship. "Kill these humans and take the airship." A voice rang out from the Blackwater race. This voice was very different from humans. It was tongue-tied. If one didn't listen carefully, they wouldn't be able to tell what he was saying. The water race was not as intelligent as humans, but their combat strength was not inferior to humans of the same level. If they were in water, they would have an absolute advantage. Fortunately, they were not in water, but in the air. This group of Blackwater race members were all above the King Realm. There were 5 Heaven Realm cultivators. They rushed up and attacked together, blocking the airship. Waves of water fell from the sky, crashing down on the airship with earth-shattering momentum. Mere black water race dares to take my airship? You must be tired of living. Yang Hongchang shouted and rushed out of the airship. A war spear appeared in his hand. It turned into a 300-meter-long snake and stabbed at the black water race. Yang Jie said sarcastically, "The airship can't attack, but it can defend." Seventh uncle, you didn't even activate your defensive power. You're too stingy. Don't talk nonsense. Yang family's prodigy. The black water race. You Xin. You Xin. You Xin, you shouted. There's no need to ask for reinforcements just to kill a few aliens. Everyone on the airship covered their heads and screamed. Yu Xin had fought with the Blackwater race before. He had come into contact with them the most. He had a defensive technique, so the damage he received was much less. He anxiously said, "This is the killing sound conch. It mainly attacks the soul. Protect it from harm. Otherwise, we'll all be finished." The kill sound conch was a unique weapon of the water kind. Once it was blown, it could attack the souls of living creatures and kill them. This wave of black water race had brought a killing sound conch. Even against a dragon transformation realm cultivator, it could only do so much. Yang Hongchang's fighting power was strong, but under the influence of the sound of the conch, his attacking power was reduced. The waves of the black water tribe came crashing down, and he couldn't block them. His body was hit by the waves from the sky, and he spat out blood. Damn it, I haven't even had a chance to show my prowess. I'm going to kill you all. Yang Hongchang was worthy of being called a heavenly king. He fiercely roared. The battle blood in his body was awakened. His battle blood and battle spear fused together, turning into a flood dragon that soared into the sky. In an instant, it tore through the waves and attacked one of the Blackwater race members. The Blackwater race member let out a cold laugh. A water shield appeared in his hand, and he used a spiral energy to block Yang Hongchang's attack. Just as he was about to counterattack, a hidden energy broke through the water shield and seeped into his arm, causing it to twist and bleed. This human is strong. Let's kill him together. The Blackwater race member was not stupid. He could sense Yang Hongchang's strength. He did not let his emotions affect his decisions and called for his companions to help. The 5 Heaven Realm cultivators of the Blackwater race were not weak. One was a high-level Heaven Realm cultivator, one was a mid-level Heaven Realm cultivator, and 3 were low-level Heaven Realm cultivators. If they worked together, they could kill any high-level Heaven Realm cultivator. Dark Water Prison. The 5 members of the Blackwater tribe joined hands and kept making hand seals. Their mouths kept speaking in a language the humans couldn't understand. Water Xian Shi was summoned and formed a black water prison to suppress Yang Hongchang. This water prison suppressed 10 miles of space, completely isolating Yang Hongchang from the others. If Yang Hongchang could not deal with it, he would definitely die in the dark water prison. At this time, Yu Xian on the flying ship was panicking. Dozens of Blackwater race kings were attacking them. The others had lost their battle power. How could he fight them alone? Kill them all and take the flying ship. The Blackwater race king who was approaching shouted excitedly. In fact, if Yu Xian could calm down, he could definitely use the flying ship to rush over at full speed. He might not be stopped by these Blackwater race members. However, he had lost his cool and did not think of this idea. Fight to the death. Yu Xian was still a brave man. He raised his golden sword and was ready to fight the Blackwater race king. However, a figure was faster than him. A palm with the power of Broken River slammed on the Blackwater race king's chest. The palm print broke the Blackwater race king's hard sternum. The Blackwater race king's body was thrown back and knocked away several Blackwater race members. Then, Yu Xian saw a person turn to a dragon and rush into the Blackwater race. He attacked left and right. His palms were powerful and powerful. Each of his palms killed a Blackwater race king. The killing power was terrifying. Yu Xian swallowed his saliva. As expected of the number 1 heavenly king, the person who attacked was Yang Wu. His soul was attacked, but it was not as serious as the others. His soul was very powerful and had formed his soul body. He had the ability to protect his soul. Yang Wu attacked continuously and displayed the full power of Broken River Palm. Soon, he entered the perfect stage and displayed the full power of this palm technique. Hurry up and kill that human with the killing conch sound. In the distance, a Blackwater Race King saw Yang Wu. He urged the Blackwater Race King beside him to blow the killing conch sound again. Woo, woo. The killing conch sound spread out like waves. It went straight into people's souls and hurt them. It was a true soul-destroying weapon. Unfortunately, it did not have much effect on Yang Wu. If it was a Heaven Realm Blackwater race member blowing it, it might be able to threaten him. However, it was only the Blackwater Race King blowing it. Yang Wu split his attention. The ice blade wings flew out of his body and flew toward the Blackwater Race King. Puff, puff. The throat of the Blackwater Race King that was blowing the killing conch sound was cut open. The other Blackwater Race King beside him was cut in half. The Blackwater Race King's armor was at least 3 times stronger than the armor of a human at the same level. However, they were only kings and could not withstand a single blow from the ice blade wings. All of you die. Yang Wu released the Tao of Death and enveloped the Blackwater Race Kings that had not been killed yet. The power of death robbed them of their vitality and crushed their wills, making them feel the suffocating sensation of death. Yang Wu's steps were like a swimming dragon as he continuously slapped out the river-breaking palm. The power of splitting rivers was like a waterfall from the 9 heavens. One after another, the Blackwater Race Kings were slapped into a pool of blood. None of the Blackwater Race Kings could survive under his palm. When Yuxian saw this scene, he was immediately astounded. Even though he knew that Yang Wu was the #1 heavenly king and had seen Yang Wu in action, he was still shocked to see Yang Wu killing his opponents again. The #1 heavenly king is indeed worthy of his reputation. After killing these Blackwater Race Kings, Yang Wu did not stop and rushed toward the Darkwater Prison. The Darkwater Prison was extremely powerful. It seemed to have formed a world of its own, sealing and suppressing Yang Hanchang. Yang Hanchang was an outstanding youth of the Yang family. His battle blood talent had reached 35% and was only 15% away from reaching 50%. This was a hurdle. If he could cross it, his status in the Yang family would be even higher. Right now, he was using his battle blood talent to unleash 5 times his battle strength. This was the power of the combination of his battle blood talent and the reverse dragon spear arts. Many spear lights continuously attacked the Darkwater Prison, but the shocking power could not break it. They were all destroyed by the gentle power of the water. Blackwater arrows. Suddenly, tens of thousands of arrows shot out from the prison. These arrows were condensed from water Xian energy, aiming to turn Yang Hanchang into a target. Black armor heavenly art. Yang Hanchang revealed an anxious expression as he activated a defensive battle skill. The black tortoise appeared behind his back and increased the defense of his heavenly scale armor by several times, blocking all the water arrows. With the amount of energy he had expended, he would not be able to last much longer. He continuously attacked, wanting to open a defective item, but the water was endless and did not give him any chance. Damn it, if it was one-on-one, I could kill one of these Blackwater Race Kings in one move. But their combined talents are too powerful. It's very difficult for me to break through. Yang Hanchang thought helplessly. Put in more effort. This human won't be able to hold on for long. A Blackwater Race King shouted proudly. Exhaust him to death. The other humans are no longer a threat. That flying boat is ours, someone replied happily. Just as Yang Hongchang's defense was about to be broken through, the Darkwater Prison's power stopped. The Blackwater Race King was shocked. Who dares disturb our prison? Chapter 550. Dragon Turtle Water Suppressing Stance. This was a water-absorbing secret art that Yang Wu had learned from the Dragon Turtle Water turning technique. Yang Wu mainly cultivated water Xian energy, which was beneficial if he was close to water. When he got close to the Darkwater Prison, the Supreme 9 Mysteries incantation combined with the Dragon Turtle Water Suppressing Stance produced an extremely powerful sucking force. It was so powerful that even the water power of the Darkwater Prison was sucked away by him. The Supreme Nine Mysteries incantation had already refined 3 types of Xian energy, each of which was the essence of the Xian Qi of heaven and earth. It had greatly increased the grade of the incantation. If the Supreme Nine Mysteries incantation had reached the level of heaven incantation, then it would definitely be the number 1 heaven incantation. No other incantation could absorb the Xian Qi of heaven and earth faster than it. The Xian bridge of heaven and earth in Yang Wu's body solidified. A bright moon rose from the sea, illuminating everything. The image of a heavenly fish appeared and swallowed the moon. The water, Xian Qi, surging in from the outside, turned into a torrential rain and fell into the earth sea. The earth needed water, and so did the kidneys. 1/3 of the water power went into his kidneys, nourishing the ice blade wings. The dragon turtle would benefit from water. Yang Wu absorbed a large amount of water, Xian Qi. The dark water prison's power stagnated and weakened, allowing Yang Hongchang to kill his way out. The Black Water Tribesmen looked at Yang Wu. Someone shouted, "It's the human outside who is messing with us. Kill him." A Black Water Tribesman in the early stage of the Heaven Realm swept towards Yang Wu. The battle weapon in his hand drew a wave, like a river rushing towards Yang Wu. This attack was powerful enough to destroy mountains and kill any living being below the Heaven Realm. The power of water was at its strongest in the hands of the Black Water Tribesmen. Yang was also playing with water. He condensed a blue palm and formed a sharp palm print, slapping towards the opponent's attack. The powerful force hit the wave and scattered it. There was also an indomitable force that went forward and imprinted on the surprised Black Water Tribesman's face. Bang! The Black Water Tribesman in the early stage of the Heaven Realm didn't even have time to scream before his face was smashed. Dark blue blood splashed everywhere. Good kill. The people on the flying ship had recovered. When they saw Yang Wu kill the Black Water Tribesman, they could not help but exclaim, "Let's not stay idle. Let's kill our way out," Tang Wen said solemnly. At this time, Tang Wen already had the strength of a quasi-heavenly fish. If he wanted to break through as soon as possible, he had to sharpen himself. Only then could he break through with his own ability. Besides, if the 5 brothers wanted their own achievements, they could not shrink back in the face of danger. They had to face it head-on. Tang Wen, Zhang Su, Li Xiao, Uxian, and Gushi all rushed out with their swords in hand. 5 different lights locked onto another Black Water Clan member, wanting to use him to sharpen their swords. Yang Jie and the other 2 geniuses of the Yang family weren't to be outdone either. Although they were only at the peak of the Earth-Sea realm, they all had a trace of battle blood innate talent. They were completely capable of fighting above their realms. The 3 prodigies of the Yang family chose another beginner, Heaven Realm Black Water Tribesman. Only the advanced and intermediate Heaven Realm Black Water Tribesmen were left. The pressure on Yang Hongchang was greatly reduced, and he shouted, "Evil people dare to trap your master Yang. Let me tell you how to write the word death." The spear transformed into a long blue dragon that circled around the advanced and intermediate Black Water Tribesmen, trapping them in the middle and strangling them with its dragon body. Yang Wu didn't have the chance to continue attacking, so he simply stood aside. He spread out his palms and grabbed the Black Water Tribesmen he had just killed. The corpses and weapons that fell to the ground were all collected by him, especially the murderous conch. This was a good spiritual treasure that could not be lost. Yang Wu returned to the flying boat and looted all the corpses of the Black Water Tribesmen. Yang Wu stripped the corpses of the Black Water Tribesmen. Yang Wu said gloomily, "There's nothing else except weapons, these conches, and seashells. They're too poor." Yang Wu thought that he could get some benefits from these Black Water Tribesmen, but he was disappointed. Without a second thought, he burned the bodies of the Black Water Tribesmen, leaving behind a pile of trophies. Except for the murderous sound conch, he left the rest on the deck of the boat and didn't pay attention to them. On the other side of the battlefield, after Yang Hongchang escaped, his battle strength was high, and he quickly killed the 2 Black Water Tribesmen. Yang Wu saw that after Yang Hongchang activated the battle blood talent, a battle pattern appeared between his eyebrows. Even if the battle pattern was not very obvious, it helped his power explode. Even a top heaven realm expert might not be his opponent. When Yang Hongchang activated the battle pattern, Yang Wu's bloodline power was extremely active. He felt an itch between his eyebrows, as if something was about to emerge. He murmured, could it really be a bloodline of the same origin? In another direction, the 5 heroes of the roaming sword joined forces to kill a heaven realm Blackwater tribesman. They were all geniuses and had the ability to fight above their level. The heaven realm Blackwater tribesman was not weak, but after being hit by Tang Wen's hidden weapon, poison seeped into his body, and he was cut into several pieces by the 5 of them. However, they also paid a price for killing this Blackwater tribesman. Zheng Su and Li Xiao were injured by the Blackwater tribesmen, and their injuries were not light. Fortunately, they were not fatal. Yang Jie and the other 2 were not so successful in dealing with the Heaven Realm Blackwater tribesmen. The 3 of them were all top Earth-Sea Realm experts, but they were fighting separately. They were not as united as the 5 heroes of the roaming sword, and there was no way for them to kill the Heaven Realm Blackwater tribesmen. Instead, one of them was hit by the Blackwater curse and almost died. Yang Hongchang could not stand it anymore and pierced through the Blackwater tribesman's body with his spear, killing him on the spot. You 3 little bunnies can't even kill a single evil tribesman. You've really lost the face of our Yang clan. Yang Hongchang scolded as he helped the Yang clan youth who was hit by the curse. Yang Jie and the other person revealed a guilty expression. They wanted to fight for the position of the strongest in the younger generation and did not want to cooperate with each other. If they could cooperate well, this would not have happened. Everyone once again returned to the flying ship. Uxian said, the Blackwater tribesmen will definitely sense the battle here. We can't go above the Yangtze River and change direction. Yang Hongchang immediately controlled the flying ship to change direction. He was not arrogant enough to think that he could deal with all the Blackwater tribesmen. If a top heaven realm Blackwater tribesman appeared, they might not be able to escape. The reason why they were able to kill these Blackwater tribesmen so quickly was not only because of Yang Wu, but also because they were in the sky. They gave up on fighting in the water, which was equivalent to lowering their strength. It was reasonable for them to be defeated. Yang Jie pointed at a pile of things on the deck of the ship and said to Yang Wu, Martial Heavenly King, are these things for us? If you like them, then take them. Yang Wu waved his hand indifferently. He mainly killed the king-level Blackwater tribesmen, leaving behind a pile of king-level weapons. He was not interested in them at all. As for the seashells and conches, he did not care for them. TSK, Martial Heavenly King is indeed Martial Heavenly King. How heroic! Yang Jie's eyes glowed. He then said, everyone, come and pick. Martial Heavenly King does not care for these things. Let's split them up. Tang Wen was stunned. He then looked at Yang Wu and said, Martial Heavenly King really does not want them? Yang Wu nodded and said, a bunch of small things. What use do I have for them? You guys can have them if you want. A bunch of small things. This is the wealth of the Blackwater tribesmen. Uxian exclaimed. He then joined in the snatching of the seashells and conches. Yang Wu looked at the people excitedly grabbing the pile of things and said with a puzzled expression, isn't it just some river things? Is it really worth that much? Yang Hongchang winked from the side and said, we humans have universe rings. The water tribesmen have seashells and conches. After Yang Wu heard this, he quickly rushed over and snatched back his pile of things. Who knew that those fellows would be even faster? They had already put those things into their own universe rings. Martial Heavenly King, since you don't need them, we will kindly accept them. Yang Jie said proudly. Tang Wen said steadily, that's right. Martial Heavenly King does not lack these things. You can only use them to the fullest if you give them to us. Uxian said with a smile, seashells and conches are universe treasures unique to the water tribesmen. Yang Wu immediately felt his heart ache. He actually did not recognize Mount Tai and threw away all his spoils of war. Now, he understood that the water tribesmen's universe space was different from the human tribesmen's. Some special seashells and conches had universe powers. The water tribesmen's treasures were definitely inside. He said gloomily, Yang Jie, What other books about the transcendent realm do you have? Take them out for me to see." He was deeply ashamed of his ignorance. He had to quickly fill in the knowledge of the transcendent realm to avoid this kind of embarrassing situation happening again. Yang Jie received benefits and laughed. He then threw 2 books to Yang Wu. The others also took out some books and gave them to Yang Wu so that Yang Wu could understand the transcendent realm better. Yang Wu threw away all distracting thoughts and began to read the books at full speed. He had the divine court Dao flower and had an eidetic memory. Before he reached Mount Hung, he had already finished reading these books. These books had the history of the transcendent realm, all kinds of wondrous places, and simple introductions to the various races. They were all things that everyone in the transcendent realm must read. After reading these books, Yang Wu had a direct impression of the transcendent realm. It was a vast land with abundant resources. The mountains were high and the seas were wide. There were many races, sects, and all kinds of strange treasures. They all relied on their talents to fight for the world. There was a page that introduced the water tribesmen. It pointed out their talents and weaknesses, as well as the resources they had. Yang Wu finally understood that the water tribesmen were divided into good and evil. The Black Water tribe belonged to the evil race. They lived near the sea, and their weakness was that they could not survive without water. Yang Wu took out the killing sound conch and muttered, "This killing sound conch is a top-grade heavenly soldier. It can be sold for a lot of Xian spirit stones." Uxian followed up and said, "Martial Heavenly King, our Mount Hung is in front. If you want to sell it to our Mount Hung sect." In front of them, there were mountains, lush trees, and fog like Xianxi. Ancient jade buildings, spirit beasts, and birds appeared in front of everyone. Yang Wu praised, "What a good immortal mountain." Chapter 551. Mount Hung belonged to the southern peak. It was famous for its beauty. On top of the mountains, there were lush trees and flowers. As the wind blew, countless old trees swayed as if welcoming guests from afar. Those exotic flowers decorated the mountains, adding to the dazzling colors. At the foot of the mountain, there was a flourishing incense as believers came and went. On the mountainside, there were exotic flowers, fruits, birds, and beasts. There were also Mount Hung sect disciples practicing martial arts. Immortal mist lingered on the mountaintop, and one could vaguely see the surging light in the caves. Mount Hung had 81 mountains. They connected together to form an ancient mountain range. Looking down from above, these 81 mountains were like gourds gathering cauldrons. It was a natural blessed land for gathering qi. Those who lived here and nearby would be nourished by the Xian qi, invisibly increasing their lifespan. This was also known as the longevity gourd immortal land. The ancestor of the first sect of Mount Hung sect was extremely experienced and found this place to cultivate. If this territory was a bit bigger, it would definitely help Mount Hung sect become a major power. Unfortunately, the Black Water tribe was in the north, and the Demon tribe was eyeing the south. Mount Hung sect had to protect the peace of this area. Every year, they lost many geniuses, which hindered their development. They had no choice but to join forces with the other 4 peaks. The flying boat was put away by Yang Hongchang. Everyone descended outside Mount Hung sect. No matter who arrived at Mount Hung, they were not allowed to fly over the mountain. That would be seen as a provocation to Mount Hung sect and would be attacked. Heavenly King Wu, are you selling the murderous sound conch? Uxian asked with anticipation. "Huh, do you still think I'm a noob from before?" Yang Wu laughed. After a pause, he said, "The murderous sound conch can only be used by the water tribe. We humans can't use it, but as long as we learn the water tribe's playing method, we can use the murderous sound conch. Am I right?" Uxian laughed bitterly. "I didn't expect you to memorize the explanation in the book so quickly. Not bad, but you don't have the playing method. This playing method shouldn't be difficult, right?" Yang Wu looked at the others and asked. Yang Jie jumped out and answered, "The musicians wrote this playing method into a Sound Dao battle manual. Although it's not easy to find, as long as you have something good, you can definitely exchange it." Gushi said from the side, "Mount Hung sect is very knowledgeable about music. I heard that they have many water tribes playing methods. Uxian nodded and revealed an envious expression. That's right. That's why I asked Marshal Heavenly King if he would sell the murderous sound conch. This murderous sound conch is rare even among the water races. Every one of them is very important. Aha, that's good. I don't think your sect would mind giving me a flute technique, right? Yang Wu laughed loudly. They arrived at the Mount Hung sect. In front of the sect, there was a jade stele 880 feet tall with the ancient words Mount Hung sect carved on it. The words were written in a flamboyant style and emitted waves of multicolored light, revealing the sect's grandeur in front of everyone. There were 999 steps leading to the clouds. There were Tao children standing in front of the sect. The Mount Hung sect was a sword sect, but they also believed in Taoism. Most of the people studied Taoism. The Tao children here were the successors of the sect that had been trained since they were young. They were about 11 or 12 years old, but their strength had reached the human general realm. They were only Tao children on the surface, but there were still experts from the Mount Hung sect protecting them in the dark. The two Tao children saw Uxian and greeted him. Greetings, senior brother Yu. Uxian returned the greeting. I'll bring these guests back to the sect. Senior brother, this way please. The Tao children responded politely. Uxian led everyone up the 999 steps. There were young disciples sweeping the floor on the steps. When they saw Uxian, they all called him senior brother. Uxian returned the greeting one by one. Uxian introduced, "This is our Mount Hung sect staircase. After you pass through here, it means that you've entered our Mount Hung sect. Everything must be done according to our Mount Hung sect's rules. I can only bring everyone to the outer sect. If I want to bring you into the inner sect, I must report to the inner sect deacon. You can only enter after obtaining permission. However, we're only passing through, so the outer sect is fine." Everyone nodded in agreement, understanding Uxian's difficulties. The 999 steps were very difficult for normal people to climb to the top in one go. However, it wasn't difficult for Yang Wu and the others. They quickly reached the top of the steps. Looking around, they saw many ancient buildings and Taoist temples. In front of each ancient building and Taoist temple, there were ancient cauldrons burning incense, consecrating the heavens and earth. There were Tao disciples continuously receiving pilgrims. It was a rather impressive sight. Uxian led everyone to the forbidden area of the outer sect. That was a place that no one could approach. After they passed through several rows of ancient buildings, there were fewer and fewer people. The people coming and going were all disciples of the Mount Hung sect. They were holding swords in their hands as they refined their swords. There were also people flying around with battle spears. Most of them were 14 or 15-year-old youths. Yang Wu curiously sized them up. He found that they were all doing basic cultivation. There were many cultivation tools to assist them, and there were also elders guiding them. Their starting point was who knows how many times better than the youths in the outside world. This place still wasn't the center of the outer sect. It was just the front yard. After they passed through a forest, they finally saw a place that looked like a town. The buildings here stood tall on the mountain walls. They were built in rows, appearing extremely neat and tidy. At a glance, there were at least 1,000 buildings of different sizes. There were at least 10,000 people living here. Yang Wu understood that this was only the tip of the iceberg of the outer sect. This was because any first-rate faction would have over 100,000 disciples. For an ancient sect like the Mount Hung sect, there were more than 100,000 disciples. There were at least several 100,000 disciples scattered all over the Xinjiang region. After arriving here, Uxian had to show his disciple token. Moreover, he couldn't take Yang Wu and the others anywhere. He could only have them wait in the guest building of the outer sect. Everything had to be reported to the deacon of the outer sect before they could pass through here. Uxian called for a Tao disciple to receive Yang Wu and the others. He quickly went to find the deacon in charge to explain this matter. Yang Hongchang said with a bit of dissatisfaction, "I, a dignified disciple of the Yang clan, am going out. The deacon of the Mount Hung sect should come out to receive me." "Seventh uncle, this isn't our Yang family city," Yang Jie reminded. Fourth brother is an inner sect disciple. It's already pretty good that he was able to bring us here. Li Xiao spoke up for Uxin. Yes, we're not in a hurry. Yangwu nodded lightly. Not long after, Uxin hurried over. His expression didn't seem too good. He said gloomily, I'm sorry, I can't use the spatial gate. Everyone was shocked. Yang Hongchong even said loudly, Little friend Uxin, what's going on? The deacon guarding the spatial gate said that our Mount Hung sect received a request for help from the Whitewater clan. He wants us to help the Whitewater clan solve their problem first before we can use the spatial gate. Uxin explained. He then added, Actually, some senior brothers want to force me to participate in this matter. They wanted to throw my life away. Uxin was very unwilling. He was an inner sect disciple, but his position in the inner sect wasn't high. He had once offended someone, and that person's martial uncle was the deacon guarding the spatial gate. No matter how good a place's reputation was, as long as there were people, there would be internal strife. This was an eternal topic of the human race. Since it's like this, we'll think of another way. Yang Wu didn't want to make things difficult for Uxin. Yang Hongchong said loudly, I'll do it. I believe that my Yang clan still has some face. As long as we hand over enough Xian spirit stones, it shouldn't be a problem to let us pass. At this time, a voice came from outside. Junior brother Yu, the people you brought are really arrogant. My Mount Hung sect can let anyone pass, but the people you brought are definitely not allowed. Immediately after, several young people appeared in front of the entrance of the hall. They were all disciples of the Hung Mountain sect. The one who had just spoken was the young man in the middle. He was dressed in a blue robe and had a long sword strapped to his back. His two raised eyebrows were raised high, and his domineering appearance was unmistakable. LV one of the inner sect disciples of the Mount Hung sect. He was over 30 years old and couldn't participate in the battle for the Heavenly King ranking in the shattered space. Senior brother LV, why do you have to be like this? My friends are just passing through. If this little brother has done anything wrong in the past, I'll apologize to you. Uxin lowered his attitude towards LV. LV didn't respond to Uxin's words. His gaze fell on Yang Wu and the others. He didn't recognize Yang Wu and the others, so he pointed at Yang Wu and the others and shouted, I don't care who you are, get out of here immediately. LV acted like he was the master and didn't put Yang Wu and the others in his eyes at all. Everyone was furious, especially Yang Hongchong, who shouted, Who do you think you are? How dare you talk to me like that? Quickly call your deacon over. Since when did a junior like you have a right to scold our Yang family? If it was outside, I would have cut off your head right now. LV narrowed his eyes and said, you really have guts. You actually dared to threaten us in the sect. You really don't know how to write the word death. In the next moment, he shouted, Where are the law enforcement deacons? There are intruders. Please quickly come and apprehend them. Senior brother LV, don't force me. Uxin angrily glared at LV and shouted, So what if I force you? LV sneered. They're my friends. I won't allow them to be wronged. I'll go get my master right now. Uxin clenched his teeth and said, That depends on whether or not you have the ability. LV didn't care at all. He knew that Uxin's master had always ignored Uxin, so he didn't take this threat to heart. If we knew that the Hung Mountain sect would be like this, we wouldn't have entered. Yang Hongchong said. He paused for a moment and then said, Let's go. We'll get our revenge in the future. Who knew that before they could walk out, a group of people blocked their path. It was the Hung Mountain sect's law enforcement team. Where are the intruders? The leader of the law enforcement team shouted. Old Lu, it's you. Yang Hongchong happily shouted after seeing this person. Chapter 552. The transcendent world was very big, but it was also very small. It was big because the land was incomparably vast. If one didn't reach the Saint Realm, they wouldn't be able to travel throughout the transcendent world. It was small because the various sects had built spatial gates that could instantly cross tens of thousands of miles to reach another world, saving a lot of time. Yang Wu and the others wanted to pass through, but they didn't expect the Mount Hung sect to make things difficult for them. Just when everyone thought it was hopeless, there was a light at the end of the tunnel. Yang Hongchong knew the Mount Hung sect's law enforcement deacon Lu Tai. Old Yang, how come it's you? Lu Tai looked at the person in front of him and also showed a happy expression. Suddenly, Lu Zhihai's expression became ugly. He called the law enforcement deacon over to make things difficult for the group in front of him, but it seemed like he got the wrong person. Of course it's me. You really hid yourself well. You're actually from the Mount Hung sect. Yang Hongchong walked up and punched Lu Tai. It could be seen that the two of them had a good relationship. Haha, my strength is average. I don't dare to embarrass our Mount Hung sect outside. Lu Tai laughed and then asked, "What's going on?" Lu Tai was a middle-aged uncle. He looked a few years older than Yang Hongchong and had a heroic look on his face. Yang Hongchong cast a sidelong glance at LV Zhihai, saying, "Your Hung Mountain sect's hospitality is truly unflattering." Lu Tai's sharp eyes stared at Lu Zhihai. Lu Zhihai shivered and said, "Deacon Lu, this might be a misunderstanding. Junior brother, you rashly brought them here." "I don't." Lu Tai didn't wait for Lu Zhihai to finish and reprimanded, "Scram. You're making our sect lose face." Lu Zhihai's face alternated between green and red. He brought his people and left dejectedly. Uxin straightforwardly said, "Senior brother Lu, take care. I won't see you off." "Old Lu, your Mount Hung sect's disciples are getting worse with each generation." Yang Hongchong sighed to Lu Tai. "Be careful with your words," Lu Tai said softly. He then waved his hand to the people behind him and said, "You guys go do your things. I'll meet up with my old friends." The people behind Lu Tai left. He caught up with Yang Hongchong for a while and asked him why Yang Hongchong came here. He patted his chest and promised that he would let Yang Hongchong and the others use the spatial gate. Yang Wu, Tang Wan, and the others were completely relieved. Old Lu is a true friend, Yang Hongchong praised. He looked at the few juniors with a smug look on his face, as if he was saying, "Look, wherever I go, I'm familiar with people. This is a good relationship, right? I have matters to attend to at the mountain gate, so I won't keep you here any longer. I'll send you off first." "Deacon Lu, what happened in the sect?" Lu Tai hesitated for a moment before saying, "It's not a secret, so I'll tell you. A demonic palace was found in the Yangtze River. The Water Tribe asked for help from our Hung Mountain, hoping that we can help them take down that place and prevent it from being occupied by the Blackwater Tribe." "Monster Race Palace?" Xin exclaimed. "That's right. Right now, the sect has already sent out dozens of deacons and 500 disciples to help. If you cultivate water-profound chi, you can also go," Lu Tai said. Then he continued, "There is a powerful suppression there. Only people in the heaven realm and below can enter. The bottom of the water is the territory of the Water Tribe and the Water Demon. We have no advantage at all. According to what you said, we can also go in?" Yang Hongchong's eyes lit up as he said. Lu Tai was slightly stunned for a moment before saying, "I almost forgot that you're an excellent swimmer. If you can fight in the water, you can naturally participate. Our Hung Mountain sect has never rejected any chivalrous person, but you have to be prepared to die. The Blackwater Tribe is extremely powerful in the water, and there are dangers everywhere in the Monster Race Palace. Cut the crap. Hurry up and send me over. If you want to break into the Monster Race Palace, no. I'll help your Hung Mountain sect. I'll help the Whitewater Tribe," Yang Hongchong said with incomparable excitement. Everyone looked at Yang Hongchong with disdain. Who couldn't see that this guy was preparing to take advantage of the Monster Race Palace? "Seventh uncle, we still have to go back to the family," Yang Jie reminded. "There's no need to rush. All right, you all should also come with me to the Yangtze River to practice your water skills. This is what our Yang family is best at," Yang Hongchong said. "There's no time to lose. Come with me," Lu Tai said straightforwardly. Just like that, Lu Tai brought Yang Hongchong and the others out of Hung Mountain. Yang Wu and the Proud Sword 5 heroes could only follow. They didn't want to stay here. After they left the outer courtyard of Hung Mountain, they spread out their figures and quickly rushed to the tributary of the Yangtze River. On the way, Lu Tai told everyone about the Monster Race Palace. The Monster Race Palace was discovered by the Water Tribe half a month ago. The Water Tribe originally wanted to lead their people to open the palace and take the inheritance inside. Unexpectedly, before the palace's restriction was completely opened, the Blackwater tribe found out and the two sides engaged in a fierce battle. The Whitewater tribe was originally weaker than the Blackwater tribe. They didn't want to lose the opportunity in the Monster Race Palace, so they asked for help from the Hung Mountain sect and were willing to share the opportunity in the palace with the Hung Mountain sect. The Hung Mountain sect had countless capable people, but under the water and under the suppression of their realms, the people they sent out lost a lot. Helplessly, the Hung Mountain sect and the Whitewater tribe discussed for a while and decided to allow other forces or rogue cultivators to come and help. This was equivalent to sharing the opportunity. They didn't want to leave the opportunity in a Monster Race Palace to the Blackwater tribe. The Hung Mountain sect had this kind of open-mindedness, so they had a very high prestige in the Xiangjiang River region. This was also the reason why Lu Tai was willing to bring Yang Hongchang and the others to the Monster Race Palace. On the way, Yang Jie took out a pearl and handed it to Yang Wu and said, "Martial Heavenly King, this is the water-dispelling pearl. Take it." Yang Wu was the #1 Heavenly King, and his battle strength was stronger than them. Yang Jie hoped that Yang Wu could participate in the battle with them. Yang Wu refused and said, "It's too valuable. Take it." "How is it valuable?" "I got it from the river shell cosmos you gave me. It's something from the Blackwater tribe. I still have it here," Yang Jie said with a smile. Yang Wu was stunned for a moment. He then took the water-dispelling pearl in his hand and thought, the transcendent realm is indeed different. In the mortal realm, the water-dispelling pearl is comparable to a heavenly treasure. It can only be found but not sought. Here, it's not worth mentioning. Not long after, Lu Tai led the group to a tributary of the Yangtze River. This was not the main channel of the Yangtze River, but it still looked magnificent with torrential waves. No matter who fell into it, they would be swallowed by this turbulent river. There were many people stationed on the shore. They were all from the Hung Mountain sect and the Whitewater tribe. They were almost the same as the Blackwater tribe, but the difference was that their bodies were silver. The Blackwater tribe's skin was ink black. It could be said that the black and white were distinct. When Lu Tai and the others flew closer, the people from the Hung Mountain sect noticed their existence. They looked over, and someone came over to greet them and asked, "Junior Brother Lu, why are you here?" The person who came was a middle-aged man. He was not very tall, but his steps were incomparably steady. He had a long sword strapped to his back. His eyes would occasionally look at Yang Hongchang and the others with a trace of vigilance. Lu Tai cupped his hands towards the other party and said, "Senior Brother Lu, I brought a few friends to participate in the struggle for the demonic palace." The middle-aged man, surnamed Lu, frowned and said, "How dangerous is the demonic palace? Currently, 500 of us have entered and a third of us have already died. The others should not go in." "Senior Brother Lu, I know what you're worried about, but these people are from the Yang family. They specialize in water battles." Lu Tai replied, "Which Yang family?" The middle-aged man, surnamed Lu, asked. "The Battle Clan's Yang family." Without waiting for Lu Tai to reply, Yang Hongchang had already walked forward and proudly replied. The Battle Clan was an illustrious and famous clan of the human race. They once represented the supreme power of the human race and had made countless contributions to the human race. They possessed the strongest battle bloodline talent. Today, there was a group of people from the Battle Clan that was still the leader of the human race and dominated the transcendent realm. However, there was another group of people from the Battle Clan that was declining with each generation. Even so, the Yang family's name was not to be underestimated. They were known as the Kings of the Water and Kings of the Forest. They mainly cultivated water and would profound qi. The middle-aged man, surnamed Lu, cupped his hands towards Yang Hongchang and said, "My apologies for my lack of manners. However, it would be best if you all did not enter. The Blackwater clan and a large number of water demons are fighting over it. I'm afraid that if you all went in, it would not bode well for you all." The middle-aged man, surnamed Lu, only had good intentions and did not necessarily stop Yang Hongchang and the others from entering the demonic palace. Just at this time, a shocking explosion rang out. A large portion of the surging river suddenly rushed up the shore and charged towards the people from the Hung Mountain sect and the Whitewater clan. This terrifying power was comparable to a natural disaster. It was definitely not something that a heavenly fish realm expert could block. Black Edge, you're using the river-churning saint shell. Do you want to fight to the death? An angry voice rang out. Following this, several people from the Whitewater clan flew over while activating their marine soldiers to block the river's attack. This power could not harm the Whitewater clan, but it also injured the people from the Hung Mountain sect. A dragon transformation realm expert from the Hung Mountain sect appeared. A shield rose into the air and covered the sky above the Hung Mountain sect disciples, forcefully blocking the river's attack. However, the river's power was too great and smashed down on the shield. Many of the Hung Mountain sect disciples were shaken and vomited blood before fainting on the ground. The other party had used a saint weapon. This was no small matter. The Blackwater clan member sneered and said, "This is our Blackwater clan's territory. If you don't scram, we'll kill you all." "Black Edge, you're too arrogant. I'll kill you." Someone from the Whitewater clan responded forcefully and raised a weapon to meet the Blackwater clan member. In an instant, the river's power began to churn. The river's flow became faster and slower. Many people from the Blackwater clan appeared and disappeared into the river. A Whitewater clan member cried out, "The Blackwater clan's reinforcements have arrived. Fellow Taoists from Hung Mountain, please lend us a hand. The items in the demonic palace will depend on your own ability. Don't let the Blackwater clan take them away." "Well said. I, Yang Hanchong, will bring the Yang clan's disciples to help your Whitewater clan." Yang Hanchong took the opportunity to cry out and rushed into the river. Chapter 553. The Yangtze River surged with waves. There was a fierce battle on the hundreds of feet wide river. The Blackwater tribe had thousands of people, while the Whitewater tribe only had 300. Fortunately, they had the help of the Hung Mountain sect. Otherwise, the Whitewater tribe would have been wiped out by the Blackwater tribe. At this moment, Yang Hanchong rushed into the battlefield. No one from the Hung Mountain sect stopped him. They knew that he was brought by Lu Tai and was trustworthy. Moreover, the demon palace in the Yangtze River was ownerless and could be taken by anyone. The Hung Mountain sect was not a selfish sect. Otherwise, they would have sent their saints to fight for it. They only sent their juniors to participate. In addition to letting the juniors fight for opportunities, it was also a kind of training for them. The Great Tao and martial arts were fighting for supremacy. Whoever could become more courageous in different dangerous situations will be able to rise above others. Yang Jie and a genius named Yang Per rushed into the river. The other genius named Yang Liang did not cultivate water xianqi and could only watch the battle from shore. Among the 5 heroes, Li Xiao majored in water xianqi. He said to the other brothers, "I want to enter the river to fight." The 5 heroes formed a group to improve their strength. Li Xiao had broken through the Earthsea realm and wanted to break through the top realm as soon as possible. He urgently needed to fight to train himself. "Be careful, don't force yourself," Tangwen said. The others also warned Li Xiao, but no one stopped him. In the process of cultivation, everyone had already disregarded life and death. Otherwise, how could they compete with others? Li Xiao looked at Yang Wu and said, "Martial Heavenly King, do you want to come?" His eyes were filled with anticipation. If Yang Wu went, he might have a better chance of survival. After all, in the river, the water tribe and water demons were the most powerful. Yang Wu hesitated and said, "Then let's go down and have a look." For some reason, after coming here, Yang Wu faintly felt a calling. At first, he thought that it was because the 9 Secrets tactics had sensed the xianqi. However, after he sped up the 9 Secrets tactics, he did not find anything strange. There was an inexplicable feeling in the heavenly court that if he did not enter the river, he would lose something important. Therefore, he decided to go with Li Xiao. Even if there was no gain, it could be considered a training for himself. "Uxin they are?" Lu Tai asked Uxin. Uxin hurriedly introduced Li Xiao and Yang Wu to Lu Tai. When introducing Yang Wu, he especially emphasized that he was the #1 heavenly king. After hearing this, Lu Tai's eyes lit up. He looked at Yang Wu and said, the first heavenly king who hasn't broken through the heavenly fish realm yet. Yang Wu cupped his hands towards Lu Tai and said, Yang Wu greets Darren. All right, since you can become the #1 heavenly king, you could be considered a top existence among the younger generation. However, the Yangtze River is merciless, so it's best to be careful. Even if we, the top heavenly realm experts, enter, our battle power will be halved. Lu Tai said with a bit of concern. Every heavenly king ranking competition represented the new generation of outstanding youths. For Yang Wu to be able to take the lead and become the #1 heavenly king, it meant that his potential was limitless. When he grew up in the future, he would definitely be more outstanding than them. Thank you for your reminder, Darren. We will be careful this time. If we are no match for them, we will retreat. Yang Wu said, and then flew towards the Yangtze River with Li Xiao. On the river's surface, the Black Water Clan and the Water Demons were guarding it. The White Water Clan and the Hung Mountain Sect's people kept forcing their way in. Water Xian Qi kept splashing and exploding as if they wanted to destroy this section of the river. However, the Yangtze River was a long river of history. It carried countless years of the realm's history. It coexisted with the Yellow River and was one of the 2 great river dragons of the realm. Some people once concluded that they were formed by the ancestral dragon, while others said that they were the symbol of the human race's dragon-shaped totem. Even saints couldn't destroy these 2 historical dragons. If they really did so, they would be punished by the heavens. When Yang Wu and Li Xiao rushed towards the Yangtze River, the waves of water turned into arrows and shot towards them. The power of each water arrow was extremely domineering, comparable to the attack of a king. Moreover, there were thousands of arrows shot out at the same time. Even a peak-level king might not be able to block them. Before Yang Wu could make a move, Li Xiao, who was beside him, took out the carefree sword and slashed out with a beautiful carefree sword style. A sword ray was like a shocking rainbow, cutting down hundreds of arrows. However, there were still many water arrows coming towards him. He took out a square sword shield and firmly protected his body. He then called out to Yang Wu, Martial Heavenly King, quickly go in. Li Xiao was also very generous. The 5 heroes had followed Yang Wu and could be considered to be Yang Wu's master. He didn't make a move for himself, but to open a path for Yang Wu first. Yang Wu nodded. He stretched out a hand and pulled Li Xiao to his side. Then, he used his other hand to slap out. Thousands of arrows were shattered by the force of this slap. The Blackwater tribesmen behind the water arrows were also slapped into the river. Things were not over yet. Some of the fish demons charged out. They were the man-devouring fish. They were not big, but their mouths were filled with extremely sharp teeth. They were able to bite through anything hard. In an instant, hundreds of man-eating fish rushed out. These were all under the command of the Blackwater tribe. It was because of this ability that the Blackwater tribe was known as an invincible tribe on water. The Whitewater tribe was entangled by the Blackwater tribe and didn't have the heart to help the Hung Mountain sect, let alone Yang Wu and Li Xiao. If they wanted to enter the Demon Palace, they had to pass through this trial. If they couldn't even pass this trial, then they should just retreat. If you can't even kill these fish demons, then don't go in. Yang Wu no longer took care of Li Xiao. He pushed him to a place where there were fewer fish demons and shouted loudly. He continuously struck out with both of his palms, and a large amount of water profound chi in the surroundings gathered together, forming a water palm that slammed down. Bang! This part of the water was dented by Yang Wu's power. More than half of the man-eating fish were wiped out. Blood dyed the river red, but it was all wiped away by the waves. The Blackwater tribe sensed Yang Wu's power and was shocked. When a Heaven Realm member of the Blackwater tribe attacked Yang Wu was the first to turn into a dragonfish and dive into the river. The river surged and the waves rolled. No matter who rushed into the water, they wouldn't be able to stand steadily. They might even suffer internal injuries from the powerful impact or die on the spot. Yang Wu had the water-dispelling pearl on him that could stabilize the water. When he sank, the waves didn't hurt him. A ball of water-dispelling power enveloped him and helped him sink down easily. The first layer of the river was muddy water. It was difficult to see the situation in the water and was easy to be attacked by the Blackwater tribe and the water demons. This was the first layer of obstacles and was the easiest to be injured. Yang Wu was prepared before entering. He used the dragon turtle water suppressing stance. He had once sucked the essence blood of turtle demons and flood dragon demons. He had used the dragon turtle water suppressing stance to the proficient level. He could suck large amounts of water profound energy and use it to sense the nearby movements. However, the river here was turbulent and the movements were huge. It was difficult to distinguish the direction of living creatures. The sound of the water roared in his ears. Yang Wu accelerated his sinking. A black shadow quietly appeared behind him and stabbed a sharp blade at his back. This kind of sneak attack was silent and impossible to guard against. Yang Wu felt the threat under the dual senses of the Tao flower of the divine court and the dragon turtle water suppressing stance. He quickly reacted and turned his body to grab the sharp blade. He pulled it forward and kicked back, wanting to kill the sneak attacker. Unfortunately, his strength was completely blocked in the water. He couldn't use the power of his attack and could only force the other party to retreat. Although the shadow had lost its battle weapon, it continued to attack from other directions. Streams of water condensed into sharp blades and continuously attacked Yang Wu. These forces were condensed from water profound energy and were not affected by the flowing water here. This was the advantage of the Blackwater tribe. This was the power of a king, but it was amplified in the water. Its destructive power was even more shocking. Yang Wu was calm. Armor appeared on his body and protected him. He was thinking about how to fight in the water. The water was unpredictable and turbulent. The water-dispelling pearl could only dispel water, but it couldn't increase his fighting power in the water. Suddenly, he thought of the pool where he met the demon turtle in the Wolf Smoke mountain range. He used to cultivate under the waterfall and was attacked by the water power of the waterfall again and again. He relied on the dragon turtle water-suppressing stance to stand steadily under the waterfall. Yang Wu stood up with the water-suppressing stance again. The surrounding water flow was under his control. Countless water profound energy entered his body, and his strength was increasing rapidly. He also started to familiarize himself with the flow of the water. As long as he was given some time, he would be able to adapt to the water battle. If I go with the water, it will be advantageous. If I go against the water, it will be obstructed. I have to turn all the water to go with the flow. Only then can it help me fight in the water. Yang Wu's comprehension was amazing. He understood the way of the water in a short time. This had a lot to do with his soul form. He started to wave his arms, and the image of the dragon turtle appeared behind him. He formed a fist with one hand and a palm with the other. The power of the river flowed with the flow of the water, and some of the waves in the surroundings were controlled by him. The power of the sneak attack from the Blackwater tribesmen was disrupted and couldn't hit Yang Wu again. The Blackwater tribesman said in astonishment, "You want to comprehend the way in the water? Too naive." He took out 8 venomous fish bones, grabbed them, and thrust them at Yang Wu with all his strength. These 8 poisonous fish bones were placed in 8 different directions and weren't washed away by the water flow at all. Everything was under the control of the Blackwater tribesmen. They quickly stabbed into Yang Wu's battle armor. When the Blackwater tribesman thought that he had succeeded, he realized that these 8 poisonous fish bones were blown away by Yang Wu's power. They couldn't stab into Yang Wu's body at all. This person is too strong. I'm not his match. The Blackwater tribesman thought to himself. He didn't force himself to deal with Yang Wu. Instead, he summoned a group of man-devouring fishes to pounce at Yang Wu. Just when these man-devouring fishes were close to Yang Wu, an incomparably sharp power burst out from Yang Wu's arms. The river water churned, and his profound chi was astonishing. The fish demons were all shaken into pools of blood. Dragon Turtle Sea Flipping Technique. Chapter 554. The Dragon Turtle Sea Flipping Technique was the first secret technique that Yang Wu had obtained. It was extremely powerful, far beyond the ranks of heavenly skills. With Yang Wu's ability, he had only reached the proficient stage. It was still too early for him to reach the large success stage. If he had the dragon turtle blood essence, he might be able to reach the large success stage. However, the dragon turtle was extremely hard to find. Yang Wu comprehended the Tao of water in the water. Using the dragon turtle water-suppressing stance as his foundation, he first stabilized his body. Then, using the dragon turtle sea-turning technique as his skill, he comprehended the water force and turned the situation around to kill the man-eating fish. The dragon turtle was indeed the overlord of the water. When Yang Wu used the dragon turtle sea-flipping technique, he began to feel that the water's potential was under his control. Although he could only use 20% or 20% of its power, it was definitely worth celebrating for him. Any genius who entered such an environment for the first time would not be able to fight. Without training for 10 days or half a month, they would not be able to adapt to the unpredictable water's potential. After Yang Wu's first attack, he used a second one. Close to 100 man-devouring fish died a violent death. The man-devouring fish had thick skin and flesh. They were full of vitality. Unfortunately, their evil aura was too strong. Otherwise, they could be caught and eaten regularly to improve one's physique. Even an ordinary king would need 2 to 3 attacks to kill these man-devouring fish. However, Yang Wu easily killed them. His combat power was not just for show. The Blackwater tribesman not far away was frightened. He continued to make strange summoning sounds, and other Blackwater tribesmen approached. You can't even kill a small human. What a piece of trash. The Blackwater tribesman who had just arrived cursed. Sir, be careful. He is very strong. The Blackwater tribesman who had just attacked Yang Wu warned. No matter how strong he is, can he be stronger than my water axe? Wait for me to chop him into pieces. The Blackwater tribesman who had just arrived shouted confidently. A blue axe chopped down towards Yang Wu's head. This was a top-notch king, and he was one level stronger than the one who had ambushed Yang Wu. The axe light he wielded broke through the waves, and he even borrowed the power of the water. The power of the axe light was comparable to the power of an ordinary heavenly fish realm expert. This was the obvious advantage of the Blackwater race's ability to borrow the power of water. Yang Wu remained in his original position and did not sink down. It was as if he did not see the Blackwater tribesman coming at him. He continued to wave his arms and punched out again. The third strike of the dragon turtle sea-turning technique. The momentum of the river became even more rapid, condensing into a dragon turtle that roared at the river. Bang! The Blackwater race's axe light was instantly shattered. A powerful dragon turtle crashed into that person's chest. His sturdy chest exploded, and he died on the spot. The Blackwater clan man who launched the sneak attack on Ji Hao at the beginning was frightened out of his wits. Without thinking, he turned around and fled, not daring to attack this human being again. The fourth strike of the dragon turtle sea-turning technique. The fifth strike of the dragon turtle sea-turning technique. Yang Wu entered a state of comprehension. The scene of the dragon turtle treading on the waves kept flashing in the divine courtyard. He felt that he had become a dragon turtle. The power he unleashed was getting stronger and stronger, and he was gradually able to unleash 50% of his power. This was the embodiment of gradually adapting to the environment. At this moment, there was no longer any threat around Yang Wu. However, Yang Wu's comprehension had not ended. He continued to use the dragon turtle sea-turning technique, causing waves to explode in the water. The people on the shore were astonished. The water of the Yangtze River comes from the sky. No matter who falls into the water, they will not be able to create any waves. Could these waves be caused by the Blackwater race using the river flipping divine shell again? The Yangtze River has 3 layers. The first layer is the muddy water, the second layer is the clear water, and the third layer is the boundless water. The muddy water can create waves, and the clear water can float. The boundless water is the hardest to shake. It is nothing to create waves here, but it is very rare to see such a huge water whirlpool. Look, many man-eating fish have been killed. There are also people from the Blackwater race. It seems that it was done by the human race or the whitewater race. I hope it is a disciple of Mount Hung. This is the symbol of comprehending the water path. Under the river, after Yang Wu struck 18 times in a row, he had completely adapted to the underwater environment. The dragon turtle water suppression stance and the supreme Nine Mysteries mantra absorbed a large amount of water qi. In the sea of Dantian, the qi liquid increased greatly, and the heavenly fish was gradually formed. This situation was enough for anyone to break through the heavenly fish realm. However, Yang Wu had been suppressing it. He wanted to reach the perfect state before breaking through. From the experience inheritance given to him by his cheat master, he knew that the heavenly fish not only had to take shape, but also had to be condensed into a heavenly fish with scales. That was the final form. Many people thought that they could break through after reaching the heavenly fish form. However, they did not know that the heavenly fish was a living heavenly fish after it was born with fish scales. Only then would it be logical to break through, and the foundation would be more solid. Yang Wu opened his eyes. The swirling waves disappeared, and his body quickly sank. He thought to himself, Elder Sun once said that it is beneficial to encounter water. There should be something here that can help me improve. Yang Wu sank dozens of feet. There was a very strong pressure. He had the water-dispelling pearl, so he could ignore this pressure. Without the water-dispelling pearl, the pressure here could cause him harm. After sinking for hundreds of feet, even if he was in the heavenly fish realm, he would be bounced back up. If I can abandon the water-dispelling pearl and train here for a period of time, I will definitely be able to break through to the heavenly fish realm, Yang Wu said to himself. Great pressure also meant that he could train his willpower and physical body to resist pressure. He could also absorb a large amount of water qi here. However, there was a hierarchy of things. His goal was to find the demon palace. Kill this human. The voice of the black water tribesman rang out in the distance. Suddenly, 3 huge man-eating fishes rushed towards Yang Wu. There were 3 black water tribesmen riding on top of their heads. These 3 man-eating fishes were at least king-tier existences. They could launch extremely fierce attacks. The man-eating fishes spat out strong waves of water. The black water tribesmen shot out water arrows. Many forces attacked Yang Wu at the same time. Yang Wu did not dodge. He used the dragon turtle's sea-turning technique's starting position. The surrounding water was used by him. A huge wave of water turned into the shape of a dragon turtle and pounced towards them. The 3 black water tribesmen's expressions changed. They saw that their attacks were all destroyed by the dragon turtle. The wave of water did not slow down and drown them in an instant. The 3 black water tribesmen and the 3 huge man-eating fishes were destroyed. After Yang Wu continued to sink, he finally arrived at the Qingshui district. There was a huge difference between this place and the turbid water district. He could see everything at the bottom of the water. There were algae, water snakes, schools of fish, conches. Everything at the bottom of the water was reflected in his eyes. The Qingshui district was not as turbulent as the turbid water district. The water flow was calm. Blood coral. Yang Wu saw a blood-red plant below. It was the medicine king blood coral. It was a blood-replenishing herb and was very valuable. The regional epic recorded that there were countless dangers in the Yangtze River, but there were also inexhaustible treasures. He then found a medicine king. It indeed matched the description in the records. Yang Wu did not have the intention to snatch this medicine king. He saw Yang Jia, Li Xiao, and the white water tribesmen surrounded by dozens of black water tribesmen. He did not think twice and rushed over. This heavenly king is coming. Yang Wu's blood boiled. He felt that his battle blood was incomparably happy in the water. He wanted to have a good fight. Kill whoever dares to trespass into our black water tribesmen's territory. Kill without mercy. A black water tribesman who had reached the intermediate heaven realm roared. He was tall and ferocious. He held a huge black saber and slashed in all directions. This black water tribesman also had 2 ferocious pythons coiled around him. As they fought together, even a high-ranking heaven realm expert would find it difficult to be his match. There were white water tribesmen fighting against him, but this white water tribesman was only at the beginner heaven realm. He rode on a water lion and was forced to retreat. If he did not have the help of the experts from the Mount Hung sect, he would have been suppressed long ago. Yang Jie, Yang Pe, and Li Xiao were also helping the Whitewater tribesmen. They were indeed proficient in water battles, unlike Yang Wu, who was unable to adapt to the water. No matter which faction's prodigies they were from, they had all grown up through various kinds of training. They were proficient in land battles, air battles, and water battles. The strongest Blackwater tribesmen blocking here were only at the Heaven Realm. Most of their strength had been invested in the cracked door of light in the distance. That was probably where the Demon Palace was. That door of light looked like a giant shell, a giant conch, or a turtle shell. It contained a universe within. Everyone's goal was to break into that door of light and seize the fortune. Yang Wu killed his way over. He only used one move, and that was the Dragon Turtle Sea flipping art. Wherever he went, the Blackwater tribesmen and aquatic demons would be swept away by his power. No one could withstand a single blow from him. When Yang Jie saw Yang Wu, he shouted, "Martial Heavenly King, quickly break into the palace. Don't worry about us." Yang Jie, Yang Pe, and Li Xiao were only kings. It would be difficult for them to break into the palace. They could only train outside. After all, they were not from the Mount Hung sect. They could not form a team and enter directly. They were responsible for stopping the Blackwater tribesmen from sending reinforcements inside. "Don't worry. I don't have time to deal with you," Yang Wu replied. He pushed his way forward, and the Dragon Turtle Sea flipping art was used again and again. Every time he used it, the water around him seemed to be flipped. None of the Blackwater tribesmen or aquatic demons near him could stop him. Yang Wu said that he did not care about Yang Jie, Yang Pe, and Li Xiao, but in reality, he was rushing towards them. His existence attracted the attention of many Blackwater tribesmen, sharing their pressure. No wonder he is the #1 heavenly king. His battle strength is heaven-defying. Yang Jie saw Yang Wu's tyrannical attacks and could not help but exclaim in admiration. Li Xiao also sighed and said, "Martial Heavenly King is going to kill his way in." Not far away, the youths of the Mount Hung sect looked over. They were all surprised. Obviously, they did not expect such a young man to be so powerful. Was he invincible in the King realm? Yang Wu killed his way and happened to see a young Whitewater tribesman being suppressed by a Blackwater tribesman. The Whitewater tribesman was at a disadvantage. In less than 3 moves, the Whitewater tribesman would be killed. Yang Wu frowned and changed his direction to kill. "Oh no," the young Whitewater tribesman exclaimed. Chapter 555. The young Whitewater tribesman was struck by the Blackwater tribesman and was separated from his water lion. The 2 pythons beside the Blackwater tribesman opened their mouths wide and bit at the young Whitewater tribesman. They were full of hostility and had reached the Heaven Demon realm. The young Whitewater tribesman was already injured, and his reaction was much slower. He had no way to save himself. Just at this critical moment, someone stepped on the water and threw out a punch and a palm. The dragon turtle's silhouette collided with the 2 pythons and forcefully sent them flying. The young Whitewater tribesman was saved. The Blackwater tribesman was furious. He glared at Yang Wu, who had interfered, and roared, "Meddlesome human, I will eat you alive." Immediately after, he slashed down with his ink giant sword. A watermark slashed down and seemed to split the water in half. Its power was boundless. "Careful!" Yang Jie and Li Xiao cried out in alarm. The Blackwater tribesman in front of them was only at the intermediate heaven realm. However, the power he was erupting with was comparable to that of an advanced heaven realm expert. The water here was amplifying his power. Yang Wu acted as if he did not hear and continued to attack with a fist and palm. It was like the dragon turtle was swimming forward. Not only was the water unable to obstruct his path, but also gave him a great boost. The power to overturn rivers and seas was multiplied. Bang bang. The blade light was forcefully broken by the dragon turtle. It still had enough energy to charge towards the Blackwater tribesman. The Blackwater tribesman was shocked and quickly turned into a fish to dodge the attack. "Let me test my speed in the water," Yang Wu murmured as he took a step forward and chased after her. The dragon turtle water suppression stance could help him absorb the water continuously. At the same time, he could also use the power of the water to run. Moreover, he also had the wind god's legs and swimming dragon steps. He had already adapted to the water environment and should be able to use them. In an instant, Yang Wu was like a swimming dragon. His speed was astonishing and was not inferior to the races that lived in the water. The young white water clansman exclaimed softly, "This human is very powerful. Is he a disciple of the Hung Mountain sect?" Yang Wu did not expect to be able to use his speed so smoothly here. This was all thanks to the dragon turtle water suppression stance, wind god's leg, swimming dragon steps, and his war blood talent. His bloodline power was incomparably active underwater, allowing him to quickly adapt to the underwater environment. If he were to stay here for a period of time, he felt that he would be able to survive very well here, even without the water-dispelling pearl. Seeing that Yang Wu was quickly chasing after him, the Black Water Race member no longer retreated and continuously slashed out with his most powerful sword moves. 3 sword lights split into 3 paths and attacked Yang Wu, accompanied by a powerful spiral energy, which was many times more powerful than before. The Black Water tribesmen were good at fighting in the water. Their spiral energy was not something that warriors of the same level could withstand. Who would have thought that Yang Wu would still use the same move? It was the dragon turtle emerging from the water again, charging straight ahead without any fancy moves. It was extremely violent. The Black Water tribesmen's sword lights were all smashed apart, completely unable to stop the dragon turtle's rampage. This time, he did not evade again. He continuously created waves in all directions, forming a prison to imprison the dragon turtle, completely suppressing it. "I don't believe that I can't deal with a mere human king like you." The Black Water tribesman roared angrily, continuously spewing water arrows from his mouth. The sword lights continued to slash, and the waves in all directions were controlled by him, forming a sword force prison. His battle strength was pushed to the peak. The Black Water tribesman used all of his skills, determined to kill Yang Wu. At this moment, Yang Wu's battle blood was boiling. His thousand holes dantian exploded with dense Shen Qi. The heaven and earth mystic bridge and the Yongquan acupoints on his feet were all absorbing the water power in all directions. The energy gathered on his body rose sharply again, and the dragon turtle sea-turning technique was used again. "It's this move again." The Black Water tribesman was about to cry. He could clearly feel that Yang Wu's move was even stronger this time, but it was too late for him to escape. The dragon turtle instantly smashed through all the obstacles and landed in front of him, devouring him. Bang! Bang! Sounds of collision reverberated endlessly. The Black Water tribesman was completely killed. Even the chinquin shell on his body was shattered. The things inside flowed out and instantly turned into nothingness. Only a few hard things were left behind. Fortunately, the clear water here did not flow much. Even if it was hit by the air waves, it did not fly too far. It was completely within the range of Yang Wu's senses. He collected everything, including the Black Water tribesman's giant ink sword. Powerful, too powerful. The young white water tribesman rushed over and exclaimed. Yang Wu glanced at the white water tribesman, then nodded lightly and rushed towards the light door in front. The young white water tribesman followed and shouted, "Benefactor, wait for me." The young white water tribesman's battle strength was not ordinary. He was already at the elementary heavenly fish realm. He was injured by the Black Water tribesman, but he had already recovered 70%. Yang Wu ignored the white water tribesman. Instead, he turned back to Yang Jie and Li Xiao and shouted, "Those who want to come in, follow me." Yang Wu continued to open up a path. The Black Water tribesmen and water demons that rushed from the left and right were all killed by him in one move. There was no one who could withstand a single blow. After all, the main force of the Black Water tribesmen had already rushed into the palace. The young white water tribesman looked at Yang Wu in front of him. His eyes glowed. He really wanted to kneel in front of Yang Wu. He exclaimed in his heart, "He really is the war god of water." He had seen many outstanding young humans, But there was no one like Yang Wu who could defeat all his opponents in one move. Yang Jie, Yang Pe, and Li Xiao all gathered behind Yang Wu. Other than them, there were more than 10 people from the Hung Mountain sect. They were all reinforcements from the White Water Tribesmen. They didn't know who Yang Wu was, but they firmly believed that he had the same goal as them. For the time being, they followed behind Yang Wu. In their hearts, they kept asking, "Who is this kid?" In their Hung Mountain sect, there wasn't such a powerful youth among the younger generation. There was even less of a force that relied on them. They were sure that this was an outsider prodigy. Yang Wu led the group behind him and approached the Door of Light. There were White Water Tribesmen, Hung Mountain sect disciples, and Black Water Tribesmen fighting fiercely here. After Yang Wu's group came in, the fighting White Water Tribesmen and Hung Mountain sect disciples became excited. There were people constantly breaking through the Black Water Tribesmen's blockade. Kill. This place was discovered by our White Water Tribesmen. Black Water Tribesmen, scram. The young White Water Tribesman behind Yang Wu exclaimed. A White Water Tribesman exclaimed, "His Highness the Fifth Prince is here. Everyone, let's kill our way in." The Hung Mountain sect's reinforcements have also arrived. Everyone, let's put in more effort and kill these evil fellows. It turned out that the young White Water Tribesman was the Fifth Prince. His name was Bai Luoyin. He went up to Yang Wu and pleaded, "Benefactor, please take us with you and kill our way in." Bai Luoyin saw Yang Wu as an invincible king. There was no doubt that he wanted to worship him. "Don't call me benefactor. Saving you is just something I did along the way," Yang Wu said with a wave of his hand. He didn't hold back. He took the lead and continued to use the dragon turtle sea flipping technique. This move consumed a lot of energy in the outside world, but there was an endless supply of energy in the water. With the help of the dragon turtle water suppressing stance, he could ignore the consumption of energy. Moreover, he could continuously practice the dragon turtle sea flipping technique. He had already touched the edge of great success and was only waiting for the right time to enter the realm of great success. At this moment, the most powerful Black Water Tribesman was standing on top of a water crab at the entrance of the Door of Light. He held a halberd in his hand and looked down on the people charging over. He said coldly, "Bai Luoyin, you bunch of trash can forget about entering the palace." He had the aura of one man holding the pass and being invincible. It was as if he didn't care about the people in front of him. "Hegel, who do you think you are? With my benefactor here, I'll beat you to a pulp." Bai Luoyin shouted, "Who is your benefactor? Call him out. I'll kill him instantly." The Black Water Tribesman called Hegel said loudly, "Benefactor, I'll rely on you for this battle. As long as you can kill him, I'll give you a small sacred item of the water race as a reward." Bai Luoyin looked at Yang Wu and said expectantly. When the people from the Hung Mountain sect heard Bai Luoyin's words, their eyes jumped and revealed looks of desire. A small sacred item of the water race. That meant it was something that would be very useful for the dragon transformation realm. Yang Jie said from the side, "You have good taste. Yang Wu is the #1 heavenly king." When everyone heard Yang Jie's words, they were first stunned. Then their eyes widened as they instantly understood the meaning of the #1 heavenly king. Yang Wu originally wanted to barge in. If he could obtain a small sacred item, why not? He nodded and said, "All right, I'll keep my word. Wait for me to destroy him. Little friend, leave him to me." A heavenly fish realm warrior from the Hung Mountain sect stood out and said. This person was thin and looked to be around 40 years old. He was a deacon of the Hung Mountain sect. His name was Jiang Dongsheng and was at the same level as Hegel. They were both at the high-level heavenly fish realm, but under the water, he could only display the power of a middle-level heavenly fish realm warrior. The reason he stopped Yang Wu was not because of the small sacred item that Bai Luoyin spoke of, but because he did not want Yang Wu to die in vain. In his opinion, Yang Wu's realm was still too weak. Without waiting for Yang Wu to reply, Jiang Dongxing charged at Hegel. He used his full strength, and a torrential sword intent turned into a continuous crisscrossing sword light that attacked Hegel. What does a mere sword intent count for in the water? I'll defeat you in 3 moves. Hegel shouted confidently and waved his halberd. In the blink of an eye, 3 water pillars rushed out like dragons and disintegrated all of Jiang Dongsheng's attacks. Jiang Dongsheng was experienced, and this move was just a trick to lure the enemy. He circled to the other side and turned into a fish that dove into the water. He stabbed out dozens of times, each sword containing a sharp sword aura that pierced towards Hegel's vital points. Hegel's reaction was astonishing. He swept his halberd and blocked all of Jiang Dongsheng's attacks. He shouted, "Evil dragon heart strike!" He waved his halberd, and the waves condensed into an evil dragon that rushed out in an instant. The terrifying dragon head bit towards Jiang Dongsheng. Jiang Dongsheng was shocked and used all of his strength to block, but the opponent's attack was too powerful. It chased after him and sent him flying dozens of meters away, blood spurting out of his mouth. Hegel revealed a sinister smile and spat out a water arrow, chasing after Jiang Dongsheng. He wanted to take his life while he was injured. The people of the Hung Mountain sect were shocked, but it was too late to help. They all cried out, "Watch out, Deacon Jiang!" Just as the water arrow was about to hit Jiang Dongsheng, someone reached out a hand and caught the water arrow. A voice rang out, "Everyone, follow me into the palace. There's nothing to be afraid of."